I didn't get any list from you. Oh, the Discord chat. Ah, fuck. No, you're good. Do we want to start with a bit of a rundown on the leaderboard? Yep, I think so. Okay. Let's see. Diffy's loving it. We're getting pretty solid numbers. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't even know they existed. Yeah, nice. Oh, yep. Nice. Yep. We're muted, right?
And we are back. Here we are, everybody. And we are Game 3, Day 1. Plenty more 40k goodness to go. Well, my name's Adam Camilleri. I'm streaming for Art of War Down Under. I'm joined by the incredible and the lovely Nick Standing. Hello, mate. Are you here? Fingers crossed. Nick?
Yes, mate, I'm here. Hello to you and everyone that is following us along in the chat.
Praise be that you are here.
You got me,
Lord
mate?
knows I have to do this thing by myself. Yeah, I've got you. No, and we are good, and we are here. Let's transition. Let's not worry about my face too much. As pretty as I am, let's jump over and have a look at the leaderboard because it's time to look at the leaderboard. Two games in, there's some stuff to see. You know, sometimes there may not be, but right now there absolutely freaking is. I got to stop saying freaking and all these other things. So right now there absolutely is. All right, let's have a look at that leaderboard. Just waiting for it to come up on my big screen. But man, how do you feel about this third game? I would like to point out to the people in the chat. I have done as you wished. We have a Tau game and we have a Custodes game. So, I tried and we got it. So let's have a look at that leaderboard. It should be coming up for me any moment now.
Yeah, mate, we have it up on our screen now, and as we can see, the reigning Australian champion Liam Hackett is in first place currently.
Yep. What's his score on? Has he dropped any points yet?
So, well, his record says 194 points. So he's 4 points ahead of second place.
He's dropped 6 points for the tournament, man. Just got to up his game, that guy. Like, unreliable. Next up is Andrew Penn
He does, mate.
Next up is Andrew playing Death Skulls on 190 points. Nothing to slouch at there. Very, very interesting. Who's up next?
Yeah, next up we have Gabe Dello bringing the Jukari. Very, very likely that he's bringing a million bikes there. We'll have to figure out what he's running there, but he's on 188 points, so he's not too far behind the others. He's still 100% in reach of winning this. And coming in fourth, who do we have there, Adam?
We've got Luke Pierce, one of the Normal Blokes guys, one of the sponsors of this stream, and one of our very, very good friends. 2 wins, playing the Black Templars, which is very saucy, one of my heartthrobs. Shout out to Mr. Hayden Walduck, who designed Luke Pierce's list, and he played it for the first time yesterday. So, Space Marines, yeah. What do you need to know, right?
That's it. You take Oath of the Moment and you pass your 3-up saves and you are good to go. That is exactly what you need to know about Space Marines. And speaking of which, we have Samuel Marshall. He is running the Ultramarines, coming in at 5th. He is also on 187 points with 2 wins under his belt.
Yeah, exactly right. So a couple of Space Marines already showing their class, 2 in the top 5. Next up, we have Mr. Matt Morrison, the indomitable Mr. Matt Morrison, the Plague Hulk himself, shall go down forever in infamy. He is for my boys, Team Art of War, currently on 2 wins, 184 points, going strong there. Wrapping that up with the top 7 will be Mr. Matthew Cross, playing Sisters, who I think we just saw, we might even have on stream for this round. We'll see how that goes. But he's playing Adeptus Sororitas, he's sitting on 180. What are the next couple, man?
So after that, we have our man, Ben Warrior. So he is actually, I'm going to go ahead and, unfortunately, hopefully I'm not going to curse him here, but I'm going to go ahead and take him as my pick. I think he's going to go all the way with those Necrons that he's got there. He loves bragging that he's undefeated, and I think he could do it here this weekend and go all 3 days undefeated, Ben Warrior with the Necrons from the Normal Blokes.
There you go. You missed one gentleman, Mr. Stephen McGregor, with 2 wins, 178 points.
And coming in 10th. What do we got in 10th there, Adam?
In 10th place, we have Mr. Michael Magentes, who actually had on stream round 1 playing the Eldari. He's racked up another win, man.
Sorry, I thought that's what you said. Sorry about that.
No stress. No stress at all. I got a little bit of buffering. How are you doing? Am I coming through clear or am I clipping a little bit?
How could I forget that Custodes player there? I'm very sorry.
Can you hear me okay?
No, you're coming in good to me.
Fair. Good to hear.
Am I coming in clear to you?
No, I think I'm buffering. I think I've got a little bit of lag.
Yeah, man, I can hear you perfectly clear.
Fan-freaking-tastic. All right, guys. So we're going to jump over into our leaderboard. Any questions, please fire them at us. We're going to jump into our 4-player lineup. Mr. Weeb with the first super chat of Game 3. Thank you. Love you, Adam. Awesome. So it is, as I said before, we do have a Custodes game and we have a Tau game.
Why are you shouting now that we're just Mr. Weeb? Yeah, you got him.
A minute or two, just in the hopes that it clears up. Because, yeah, I am buffering something fierce. Nah, hotspot seems to be going fine. Sorry, guys, bear with us. Let's see what I can clean up on my end.
worries, man. I'll just keep going with the chat. Colin Norman, who is obviously one of the Art of War boys. He's saying, let's go possess bombs. He's loving a bit of Liam Hackett's lift there. It's obviously been performing well over the weekend. There's something that's going to emerge from this weekend as a go-to list, I think. Oh, man, Gundam there has pointed out that Unpainted Ultramarines is peak performance. Yes, it seems to be the way. You don't need to paint them.
Yeah, so I actually got an update on that game. Can you hear me okay now, mate?
Yeah, man, I can.
Yeah, I think the lag's gone. I got an update from that game. So it was actually the Colexis, one of his units of what are they? Victory Scarred, and the whole unit.
Scarred?
Yeah, the whole unit of infiltrators were not painted whatsoever. They was black undercoat.
Right.
So yeah, did not get that. So we, funnily enough, we didn't see any of those models that game. They were all sitting on objectives in ruins the entire game. Maybe there was a little bit of a sense of shame there from his opponent. But dude, we got 4 amazing games to chat about here. A couple of these. We'll go into our first one. Let me just get that up for you guys. But yeah, so we got a Custodes game. We have a... I'll just line up the first one. We have a Custodes game. We have a Tau game. Admittedly, the Tau play was unfortunately a little bit down the bracket, but we did want to get one on for you guys. That is one of the gifts of being able to stream 3 games. We don't always have to put on the top table. We do have the top table on here as well. And then we've got 2 tables that are a little bit down the brackets, a little bit, but they have interesting thematic, nuanced lists that we thought would be very interesting to show you guys. Who's joined us in chat so far? Michael Swan. It's not stuttering too much. You weren't lagging. Yeah, it was just me, guys. It was just me. Can we get a possessed bomb game? What do you think about that, Nick? Do you think we'll get a possessed bomb game?
I dare say that Liam Hackett, with the skill that he is, knowledge of the game, and that army list that he's running, he will definitely continue to rise towards top table. He is the current Australian master, so I think we'll definitely be able to see him creep up towards top table. We probably don't want to get him on too early because we have 3 days of coverage here, and watching 8 games of Liam play that possessed bomb may be a bit too much, even for 40k aficionados just like yourself and me, Adam.
Oh man, I'm of the opinion that guys like him, guys like Morrison, these perennial top tablers, there's no need to get them on early if you don't have to. In all likelihood, you're not going to have a choice in putting them on day 2, day 3. They're just going to be on the top table and they're just going to be there. So somewhere, probably next game as well, is one of the, first game tomorrow is one of the only other games where I'll be happy to shuffle around and put the players on. But from turn 5 onwards, it's just going to be the top 3 tables, guys. No ifs, no buts. We just want to call the best players at the event and showcase the best that Australia 40k has to offer. And I don't think there'll be too much argument about that. I think I have the wrong game, the wrong scorecard game here, guys. So I might need to go and mess with that around a bit. But right now, this is an AdMech and Sisters list, I believe, that is going into our Custodes game. Let me just jump around with that. You able to have chat for a minute for me, brother? And I'll see if I can get these scorecards fixed up.
Yeah, no worries at all. The Gundam there, you've mentioned the Vexilla Homer is greater than the Possessed Bomb, and that is true unless that Possessed Bomb is an Alpha Legion. I have been called out by that myself, where I was unable to deploy my Alaris Terminators due to the Alpha Legion strat. So you are correct on this one where they're running Slanesh. That is definitely true. All right, there's lots of chat going on. What else we got? You can mark the floor where your feet are the table. Yeah, that is definitely true. Some duct tape around the table or some masking tape around the bottom. To keep that in line, that would be the go there, War Magic. Bow down to your Chaos Space Marine Overlords. Ooh, I'm not a fan of that as a Ultramarine and Custodes fanboy. Okay, so this does look like the AdMech table, though. Obviously, we have Cult Mechanicus there versus Harlequins. But what we're actually seeing in that top right-hand side is some Custodes. So this looks to be Custodes versus AdMech, I do believe. I think once Adam comes back.
This is Mr. Matthew Cross versus Stephen McGregor. I think you've got the Custodes list here, so feel free to jump into that while I still try and fix this up. I have flicked around the scorecard, but it's still not reading as correct, so we might have to wait a few minutes for that to update, unfortunately.
I think maybe if you change screens, then come back to it, that might help it as well.
Yeah,
but
I might blink off,
obviously,
blink back.
I'm not diffy. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'll run us through the mighty Custodes list first. So they have the Captain General, Trajan Valaris coming in first as their first HQ. Then they have a Shield Captain on John Equal Jetbike. He has the ever-faithful Auric Aquilus. The Captain Commander, he has Indomitable Constitution. He has Misericordia. He has a Salvo Launcher and Superior Creation. So that's a very common build there from that Shield Captain. Troops-wise, we have 3 Sword and Board Custodians, and we have that times 3. So 9 Shield, Sword and Shields there, all filling out the troop slot. So the elites, we have the equivalent Custodians. We have a 4-man unit there, so 5 of them. Then he has the Vexillus Praestar with the Vexilla Magnifica. He has another one with the Castellan's Mark and the Vexilla Emperus. So it'll be interesting to see the shenanigans he's going to be doing with the Castellan's Mark. He has 2 Palace Grab attack tanks. I personally love them. They're some of my favorite Custodes units. And then he has the Ares gunship. So we've seen this in the past be a little bit hit and miss. They've obviously, thanks to the FAQ, have gotten rid of the deployment shenanigans, and we know now that us Custodes player can happily drop it down wherever we want on any deployment zone and make best of use of that. So this is a pretty standard sort of looking Custodes list. Let's have a look at what shield hosts they are. He does not actually have it listed. I dare say it would be Shadow Keepers, as that is the most popular option there. Yeah, so that's rounding it out for the Custodes. It'd be interesting to see how he goes with all storms and shields. I've found myself that they don't sort of have the damage output as maybe just a couple of Sagittarium units in there. I think one's good, one's probably enough, and then having a couple of Sagittarium's good, but he's obviously got that offensive firepower, the Ares gunship, so that's able to do a lot of the heavy lifting there rather than the Sagittarium. So that's a good little list there.
All right, I think I got a plum, mate. Perfect timing. I think I've got it going right how we like it. So you just read out the Custodes list?
And I did. I got Stephen McGregor's list.
Yeah, he's playing against these. We'll just double check. We've got the Sisters, and that is definitely Sisters and Admech, isn't it? So,
yeah, mate, you've done it well. You've done well.
Where is it gone?
Oh, wait on. You have Custodes and Sisters. Is that Sisters on the left hand side? Because they look like Mechanicus to me.
It is Admech and Sisters, and I believe it is majority Sisters. So, did I send you that list?
Oh, really? Well? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's listed as majority.
Yeah, that's
Sisters.
your one. I think you've got the Sisters list.
Well, I think I've closed it by accident because I am a silly duffer and I was doing 100 things at once, which, as you know, is one to happen here. Oh, but no, I've got it. Found it. We have a patrol detachment of Bloody Rose. He has a Canoness, he has Celestine, a unit of 5 Battle Sisters, a unit of another 5 Battle Sisters. This one has a Heavy Bolter, 9 Repentia, 4 Mortifiers, and a Rhino. Then he has a... that detachment comes in at 964 points. How can it be listed? Oh, never mind. We'll keep going. Maybe I'm incorrect. Then he has a patrol detachment of Adeptus Mechanicus, Belisarius Call, unit of Cataphren, Destroyers, Cyberkinetic Dartasmith, and then he has a big fatty unit of Castellan robots. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, all with the fully phosphored goodness, and one on a Gadoon Crawler. Yes, this is absolutely the correct list, but this list is actually an Admech list because it is primarily Admech. It is more Admech than it is Sisters. So it is what it is. This guy's probably just can't do his math, mate. He's got like 34 more points of Admech than he does Sisters. Disappointing. But as you can see with the deployment, he's got his big unit of Cataphren robots sitting in the bottom right-hand corner. They're being shielded by what looks to be a unit of Battle Sisters in front of them, and then a Rhino full of Repentia with Celestine behind them, down to the right of them, sitting just outside that crater. That's a really good position for them because they have fire. They have the best firing lane on that they're going to get on the table from where they are right now. Same goes for the Onaga Doom Crawler. Unfortunately, due to the Orion being a flyer, it can't actually be obscured from where it is, unless it's not a flyer because it's a Lord of War choice now, which it used to be, didn't it? So maybe it doesn't adhere to those special rules. Up to the top, in the top left-hand corner of his deployment, has got his mortifiers. Then I think it's some more Repentia and some Battle Sisters on either side of that. Really interesting list here. I actually quite like this. This is a take on the list because you'd see a list like this. It was pure Admech. It would have that instead of the Rhino, it would have a boat full of Electro Priests and a bunch of other things, but because he's gone Sisters, he actually retains a lot more ability to close distance, a lot more ability to sling units and get to grips quickly, because that's one of the issues that the Electro Priests don't have. You have to drive up, have to wait there, and then you have to get exploded and get out, or you just get out, etc., etc. It's actually pretty rough. I think we're seeing the Sisters army go first. He's lining up what he wants to do turn 1. This is Mr. Matthew Cross, a great player from Narracourt. He's actually beaten me. I played him in my second ever Terracon. I was playing pure Black Templars and trying to be a big man, winning with like the worst Space Marines there's ever been. And yes, didn't go so well. He beat me up, guys. But what do you think, Nick? And how do you think this is going to go now that you know we can see that Ashley's going first?
Seeing a lot of stuff on the table from the Custodes. He's obviously got those swords and boards on the top there. There may even be a unit or so in deployment. I'll have to look up. I'm not sure what the mission is. I'll have to have a look. The objectives seem to be one in each. I think it might be the one where you can move the objectives because they don't seem to be in the...
Yes, it's a priority targets, guys.
In equal spacing.
Priority targets.
I'm interested to see. He's got those Repentia. You mentioned the Repentia in that Rhino, were they?
Yeah, of course. It'll be Repentia in that Rhino for sure. There's no other unit he's going to
Yeah, so that's a very very aggressive move that he's got there from those Repentia. He's obviously not holding back with them, and he wants to use them as a bit of board control. How do you feel about them going into a unit like obviously that Palace? It's actually surprisingly reliable. It doesn't seem like it will be, but with that 5-up invo, it actually can tank a couple of things. It's got those 8 wounds. The Repentia will go through it.
Yep.
I'm guessing so, but how do you feel about them going into a unit of custodian guards with shields?
Okay, so a question for you. You'd know this as well. It's 2 CP to turn off any rerolls, yeah?
That is correct.
Is it just shooting, or is it shooting and combat, or is it the whole phase?
Nope, it's rerolls for the phase.
Okay, so if for 2 CP, he can guarantee that they can't kill him. Because, they'll go in, they hit on 4s with no rerolls and wound on 3s.
Hit on 4s.
Yep. No chance they kill him through the 3+ invul. No chance in hell. If without it, it's just whether the 3+ is spike. I do believe you need the 3+ to spike. So you need to get 12 wounds through. So, and you can proc a CP to wound them on 2s on the custom with the Repentia will wound on 2s. So you can make them hit on 4s with rerolls and then wounding on 2s. So I do think a full unit of Repentia can kill 3 Custode Guard. But look, that's not the worst trade in the world. Admittedly, unfortunately, the Repentia is still so cheap that it's still trading up in points. But for the Custode Guard player, that wouldn't feel the worst thing. It wouldn't be the worst feeling in the world. It's interesting. He's got 2 Vexillas. He's got the Magnificat and the Imperial. So he's got the +1 attack and the -1 to hit one. But he doesn't have like a big bully unit to kind of use them with. I guess the equivalent, like 4 Aquilon Terminators, isn't that terrifying? Like, isn't that scary? Is he a patrol or a? He'd have to be a battalion because he has the flyer in there as well.
Battalion.
Yeah, and the Ares Gunship is a true flyer now. It's not a Lord of War, which is fair.
Yes, that's correct.
Just a quick. Yeah,
you go.
No, you go.
I just wanted, before we moved on, I just wanted to touch on that +1 to hit banner. The double banners have actually become very prevalent in the Custodes community at the moment. The neg 1 to hit is very good, but the +1 to hit, the +1 attack, is actually something that a lot of people are throwing out there and getting that double Vexilla going. Even though, like you mentioned, he may only have that Aquilon unit to do the damage, those +1 attacks are very good attacks. So it's not like we're looking at getting like 1 damage on. Now the fact that they've moved up to flat damage rather than the D3, that damage that's coming out of those 4 Aquilons is very good.
Exactly right. We're going to transition. We're going to go over to our next table, give you guys a rundown of what's going on. That should come up for you guys momentarily. But I'm actually really keen to see this game. Like, I think the Custodes have a good army into this. Like, the Ares Gunship is absolutely fearsome. It can go down. It can easily pick up a bunch of different things from this army. Especially, I think it'll be very good for them to come down and kill the Destroyers from the AdMech and stop the Castellan Rebels from getting the +1. Because those mortal wounds hitting on 3s, rerolling everything from Belisarius, is actually just going to kill anything at once. So he does really need to neutralize them quickly. Now we have Callan Henry, another AdMech player, playing against Lachlan Gordon.
Mortals are what hurt Custode.
Exactly right, man. So we'll quickly go through this list. I think I have the Harlequin side of this. I'll read that up quickly, and then you can give us the goss on the AdMech. So we have a Soaring Spite detachment. This looks like it's a battalion. It is. It's a Shadowseer, Veil of Tears, Twilight Pathways, of course, Shield from Harm, and Veil of Illusions for the good stuff. Player of Twilight with the Shadowstone, so it has the big aura, the 9-inch aura, which I think is amazing. Troop Master, what you'd expect. Choreographer of War, Darkness's Bite, Twilight Fang. Another Troop Master with just a Caress and a Fusion Pistol. 1, 2, 3, 4 10-mans with 4 caresses, 4 Harlequin kisses. That's best 2 blades with mooks to grab bullets. A unit of 6 players with 5 fusions and caresses. A unit of 5 players with fusion pistols and caresses. It's got a Death Jester with Humbling Cruelty. You wouldn't leave him at home at an 8-round event. It's just going to be so premium, so many games. I actually think I'm on the wrong table. Gosh, diddly darn it, Adam. I've got those the wrong way around.
This all good. Just keep going. We'll swap tables.
We will. I'll swap tables really quickly.
That's all good. We'll just keep going with that list. We'll continue on. We'll just swap tables.
Yeah,
and
we
continue going what we've been going through.
And yeah, so then he's got a Death Jester, Humbling Cruelty, like I said, 3 Skyweavers, 2 Skyweavers, as you'd expect, all with Glaze, all with Haywire Cannons, and 3 Starweavers to round it out. So that's 4 10-man bombs, 3 Starweavers to go with only 2. Yeah, he's only got 2 fusion bows. So I guess the other one is to tote around the Death Jester and a couple of characters. But yeah, it's an interesting one. That he's got the second Sorry, he's got the second transport for nothing. But you want to jump into the other game. So we just transitioned over to that one, especially. If you want to jump in and tell us about this AdMech list, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no worries at all. Just pointing out two of these lovely Art of War objectives that they've got going on this table here. It's great to see some of that stuff floating around. And working onto the AdMech list, like you've asked there, so they have Belisarius Call as a warlord. They have their Dialotus coming in next. Then they have a Tech Priest Manipulus. They have some troops. They have everyone's favorite troops, 3 breaches, then another 3 breaches. Then they have some Cataphron Destroyers. So that's a unit of 5 there. Working through, they have some Skitarii Rangers, which we haven't seen much of. They have 2 units of them. Obviously, some little action dudes just cruising around doing their thing. They have some Sicarian Infiltrators in their elites. Going on to fast attack, we have some Cerberus Raiders. And then in the heavy support, we see a big bunch of Castellan robots, all of the shooty variety.
Dude.
And then just to continue on, man, there are some cheap AdMech things going around. This list just never ends. So they've got some, what else? Some Scorpius Dune Riders at the end there. So a nice little dedicated transport.
Yeah, this looks just keeps
Solid.
going,
and some Scorpius Disintegrators. Yeah, definitely does just keep going. So then there's also some Scorpius Disintegrators in there as well.
So 4 Dakabots, a decently strength unit of Cataphron Destroyers with 2 units of breaches to back it up. All the full complement of Mars goodness, the Call, Daedalosus, Manipulus. I would love to have seen like another unit of Cerberus Raiders. I think you'd probably agree. Yeah, Cerberus Raiders are just so freaking strong in this meta.
Yeah, man, we've seen a lot of tricks coming out of Queensland with those bad boys.
Yeah, 1 unit might not cut it, especially against Harlequins. Mostly because I think Harlequins just have the shots to do the damage. And so there is an interesting little bit of interplay there. Those Castellan robots are vehicles. Are they vehicles or are they monsters, with the question? If they're vehicles, the Haywire actually does a hell of a lot of work to them, and it's actually going to be quite frustrating. If they are monsters, they are good. They are hot to trot, nothing to worry about. But at the same time, they are all DACA, so if they get tagged, they're not doing all that much. He has got a couple.
Right, so while we've gone through those lists, we'll have a look through those secondaries. So we've got James Milner's. No, you're good. We have some Thousand Suns up there.
No, you are.
No, you're good. So we have Thousand Sons of the Tau Empire as the list there.
Yes, I'm fixing that up right now, brother.
No worries. Sorry, we won't go through the secondaries then. My bad. What we'll actually do is we'll have a look at those objectives that they've laid down. And we'll have a look at where they have done their pre-game moves of those objectives. If we are looking at the AdMech army on the bottom left-hand side, they have grabbed one of those objectives and they have used their mandible claws to pull that inside of the ruin on the left-hand side there. They have snatched that away from the Harlequins. You really don't want the Harlequins doing some janky janks and getting their bikes on there, so that's a very good play. The one on the left-hand side there, he's also... the one on the right-hand side also... For the AdMech, he has pulled that a bit left inside towards the center so that he can hold both of those objectives. That is also a good play.
Yeah, it's interesting that these guys. It's just a very neutral way of playing the game, isn't it? I suppose. I have just updated the secondaries. It should be. If I just hit transition again, I might just jump us out, jump us back in. It should happen in a moment or two.
Worries.
Jumps out, just back in. And the secondary should be corrected now. It should be the right scoreboard. This is all still very new to me, guys, so I do apologize for not getting it right. I actually need to do a shout-out in the chat. Eric Lathuris just said he's playing some games now with his guard, and he needed me to know because he knows I'd love it. I do, man. Dude... So those who want to look him up, Michael Hamilton is currently playing this event with the guard list that I wrote during lockdown in Victoria that I was chafing at the bit to run when I got out. But then when I got out, I got lockdown ended. I was so distracted by Dark Angels, which I was painting. I gave that guard list for Hamilton to run, and he's crushing with it so far. So I'm keen to see how far it goes. If you're interested in guard lists, please look it up. I'm sure we'll probably have him on stream at some point. But sorry, what were you saying, man? Looks like haven't quite had that fixed up yet. It should be happening anytime now.
No, we haven't. What we are doing, quick shout out to Eric. I will just mention, if you want to get some of the best coaching services in Australia, jump on the Art of War, where you can have a chat with Eric himself. He has coached other people to winning GTs in the States, and he's coaching dudes all around the world, as well as being the current 3-time Queensland champion, and I know he would have given Liam Hackett a run for his money at that Aus champ had he been there. Not to take anything away from the current Australian champion Liam the Mad Dog Hackett.
Absolutely right, my brother. It would have been great to get a full strength Masters in, but it is what it is, and it was a great event as it was. Very happy to be a part of it. Maybe who knows? Might get in for a fourth. Maybe I'll do better next year. Still haven't seen the scorecard updated, so apologies for that, guys. I have updated it, the record, what I needed to do to update that. So we'll just see if I need a transition.
Transitioned away from the screen to another screen?
Yeah, I did. I did a little baby transition before, like jumped out, jumped back in. So we'll jump out for a full sec, wait till I see it come up, and then we'll jump back into that game. Actually, we'll see. We'll just transition to the other one, and we'll see if it comes up.
Yeah, let's see how we go.
Yeah, why not? If it's fixed on the other side, then
all right. So what have we got on as the third game here, Adam?
Yes, this third game. Oh man, I'm actually having some internet issues. Apologies, guys. On my end, my internet is not having a fun day. It might be that I've just run it too hard on my hotspot for a little bit too long. 4G being what it is, and the internet in Australia being what it is, it's actually held up remarkably well despite all the goodness. But we should see that coming up. The leaderboard has not loaded yet for me, but anyway.
The internet problem could actually be a words per minute thing. Maybe we've run out of our words. Due to your beautiful voice.
I am overloading this bad boy. It cannot handle the sheer depth and breadth. So this is the right one. Craig Hamilton versus James Milner. Thousand Suns versus Tau Empire. What could be sicker? What could be more spicier than these two armies that no one's ever heard of in the current meta, battling it out? Friggin' love it. Okay, so I'm going to read out. Which one do I want? Which one have I got? Which one would you like? Would you like the Tau or would you like the T-Suns?
You have the T-Suns, man. I have the Tau in my hot little hand.
All right, T-Suns it is. We have a battalion detachment, which is Cult of Duplicity, Armament on Disc, Exalted Sorcerer. Seeing as he's got 3 Sorcerers, that means he has all the good powers. Don't need to read them out. Rubric Marines, 10-man, with 1 Soul Reaper Cannon, has a 5-man, and then has a unit of 10 Zangors. Big unit of Scarab Occult Terminators, 10 Scarab Occult Terminators, no special weapons, 2 Hellfire Missile Racks, apologies, almost missed it. Heavy support, he has a Maul of Fiend, dedicated transport, 2 Chaos Rhinos to tote around the rubrics, I'm assuming. Then he has a Patrol Detachment. This one is also Cult of Magic. This one is Cult of Magic. Dim Prince of Zinch, another Exalted Sorcerer, another unit of 10 Rubric Marines with a Soul Reaper Cannon. He has one of the biggest smite batteries I've seen here. He's got 5 Psychers, 5 T-Sun Psychers. That's a hellacious amount. And might be a bit of a problem for the Tau army due to how they go with savior protocols and things of that ilk, and the fact they have no ability to stop him. But dude, jump into that Tau army. Let's have a see and read out what it is. I want to get some ideas.
Yeah, no worries. And currently everything is a bit of a problem for the poor old Tau. So
yeah,
them along with Eldar have gone from some of the biggest boogeymen in 7th to just being cannon fodder currently. So we are going through their SEP choice. They have a custom SEP with advanced power cells and hardened warheads. Yep. Their HQ is they have a Cadre Fireblade.
Mm-hmm.
They have a commander in an XV-H6 Cold Star Battlesuit. Troops-wise, they have a strike team of 5 Fire Warriors with 2 shield drones. Then they have another one kitted out exactly the same, and then a third one, all kitted out exactly the same. Elites-wise, Dayak Gorek. I'm not sure what that is.
Special character Shaper from Blackstone Fortress.
Right. Okay. Yep. Cool. All right. And they have a Riptide going with them, a pair of Riptides in the Elites as well. Heavy support choices. They have a Skyray gunship. They have another one as them, a unit of broadsides. It looks to be a unit of 2 with some more shield drones.
So
that is it that we have coming through. That is their 2,000 points.
That is so it's 3 broadsides with 5 shield drones to go along with them. You also you missed one little tidbit at the end. He's taken auxiliary support with Commander Farsight in it.
Oh yes, so he has.
What a funny dude. I love it. He's like, I got 130 points left. Farsight, 130 points. You're worth 2 CP. Not sure if he's worth 2 CP, but I respect the hustle. Yeah, what do you think of that list? It has a lot of the big players. It has the double Riptides, has the big unit of broadsides. I'm not sure how I feel about Skyrays. Admittedly, he's at this point where he is spamming a lot of no line of sight shooting. Like he has got he's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 SMS 14 SMS shooting guns. Like there's a lot of no line of sight shooting when it all adds up. That could be a bit of a play if SMS get a little bit of a buff. Because right now, like you're trying to kill intercessors with SMS is just bad, man. Let alone a unit of Termies or something like that. But how do you feel about this matchup? T-Suns versus Riptides. I mean, we did see a very baller T-Suns game round one, didn't we? So we know what they can do, right?
Yeah, we definitely did. Those Zangors that came in, or Cultists, as screens there, then they had those Rubik Marines sitting behind it with all those smites coming through. They were able to do the damage. The Thousand Sun was able to get a massive big win. Like you mentioned earlier, the mortal wounds here are going to be a big thing for the tower. The tower lists that I've seen that have been doing quite well have been predominantly commanders and drones cruising around, getting a lot of shots off, because they still do put out quite a bit of DACA there, and they have a lot of movement, so it allows them to cruise around. As strange as it is, I've seen Eric use Vespid to great use, doing some actions and whatnot. So
yuck.
So they do have some options that you would, yuck. It is very yuck. Those flyboys cruising around. It is the way it is of ninth, is that you can use some very obscure units to be able to do certain roles. So maybe that's something we're going to see here with this tower list.
Yeah, it looks like he's positioned himself quite well. I'm on the assumption the tower probably went first, and we've seen the duplicity shenanigans of being able to let a little bit of repositioning take place for the T-Suns. If you look at the bottom, they've got a Rhino, I'm assuming it's full of rubrics. Behind there on his home ruin, he's got a lot of what looks to be the majority of his army staging behind there. It's probably a good idea. You might try for a warp time, try to get behind some of these boxes, leverage the line of sight blocking terrain to good effect. But surprisingly, we were talking about how good this table was for Grey Knights. It's actually pretty good for Tower too. The middle of this board opens up quite wide, but the pieces that it does have a very big footprint. So you can really skirt the sides with things. To the right of this table, we have a Sky Ray being supported by a Riptide. Above that, we have another Riptide with, I'm assuming, a bunch of strikes behind it. And then we have the broadsides on that orange ruin, and then they'll be supported by some drones in addition. For the T-Suns, like I said, the only thing I haven't mentioned yet is on the upper left-hand corner, behind that ruin in that side, you do have some Rubiks with what I assume is Zangors next to them, and a Rhino there. It looks like to be a Exalted Sorcerer behind the Rhino. Interesting game to see this one. What do you want to give us some insights into the secondaries? What's going on there?
Yeah, mate, I'd love to, because obviously that's going to play a big part in what this game is going to do and how it's going to develop and how deployment is taking place. So we'll go through Craig Hamilton. Everyone wants to see the tower, so let's cover the tower here. So secondary-wise, he's gone with Assassinate, Deploy Scramblers, and Abhor the Witch, obviously doubling up there on Assassinate and Abhor the Witch, going for some of those bigger HQs as well.
I'm concerned about these options he's taken, only because I've already read what James Milner has taken. So I'll read off his. He's got priority targets. He's got priority targets, engage in all fronts, and raise the banners. So James has played the I don't need to play the game play, and Craig Hamilton has played the I need to kill you to get points play. I'm feeling this is going to be a very defensive game by the T-Suns. They've got 5 characters in that army. Each one of them is going to be giving up 5 points, so 6 points, 3 for Assassinate, 3 for Abhor the Witch for all those characters. He can't afford to use them, man. Each one going down for 6 points, that's game losing. He loses 2 of those, 12-point swing. Actually horrific. But whereas sitting still, the fact that Craig Hamilton took Deploy Scramblers over priority orders maybe means he priority targets, maybe it means he doesn't quite understand how that one works, because it would just be a free 15 points for him. There is no way, no how, that apart from his unit of 10 Scarab Occult Terminators, that anything in T-Sun's army gets a meaningful charge into like anything of the Tau army. Like Rubrics versus the Riptide, do not do. No one do that experiment. Maybe a couple of characters, like a Demon Prince or a Riptide, that's on a couple of wounds after smiting and stuff, maybe you do that. But legitimately, there is no charge in here that is going to be worthwhile. And even the Scarab Occult charging in may lose a bunch of stuff to the Hellacious Overwatch. That's going to be like a Riptide and Broadsides combined. The bottom of the board offers more opportunities for the T-Suns. The bottom right-hand corner, a gem, Occult Duplicity redeploy, a deep strike, a lot of opportunities down there to get in and do some work and start bullying a little bit with lines of sight. You could just deploy directly below that central big box ruin, and then just be threatening both of those units, make him move, make some choices, touch the terrain, so you do get a really good save against a lot of things. But man, so James Milner's going to get 15. He's going to get 15 for priority targets for just sitting there. There's no way in hell anything on the tower side comes over and takes the home T-Suns objective. That's just not going to happen. He's going to get raised the banners. Even if he just gets raised the banners, that's 20 points for secondaries. He's probably going to get more than that. He's probably going to get 2 for consistently get 2 points for engage. Maybe only a couple of turns of the game. Maybe half, so 6 points there. Dude, that's 26 points for secondaries. I can't see the Tau player getting 26 points for secondaries if the T-Suns player doesn't just throw characters at him. And he needs to throw 3 characters at him. He needs to give up 18 points from those 3 characters in order to bridge that gap. So it's going to be a primary game. The Tau player needs to get on his horse, needs to be brave, and get those Riptides out there onto the middle objective 100%.
Yeah, you're right there. And alluding to that there, like you did, the primary game is obviously the most important there. The mission allows you to move the objectives, and we can have a look at some smart plays here by James Milner. He has grabbed both of the objectives, and he has also dragged them into the building as close as he can. He's obviously just on the outside on the bottom left-hand objectives, and I believe he has dragged the objective into that balcony. So we know there's a lot of balcony parties going on today in that top left-hand ruin there. That's where a lot of action has gone unforeseen, as we cannot see inside that balcony. Yes. There is restricted access there for us, but there seems to be a lot of partying going on in there.
I'm going to transition us back to the Custodes game just because some stuff's going down. But legit,
while you do that is Ben Nickerud in the chat. Sorry, man, a bit of trouble with that name. He's pointed out that Craig is the nicest person in South Australia 40K. So there's one thing we like more than competitive gamers, and that is nice gamers.
Absolutely.
Here at Art of War,
man, and he's a lovely man. I've met him a couple of times. He's just a gentle soul. Truly true gentleman. Jumping over to the Custodes game, we have had the scorecard is cleaned up. As I would expect, that Orion cannot stay there very long. I'm trying to see if much damage was done turn 1 by the Sisters. Looked like they had a bit of a redeploy. Posturing up onto that bottom right-hand objective with the Rhino, probably full of Repentia. That's probably going to get popped. 2 Palace Grav Tanks can easily see into that. What's the unit above the Grav Tank that you can see there, mate?
Which one's that? So it looks like the Shield Captain is the one on the bottom right there. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the one above there. So what he needs to do is...
Yes, that's a Shield Captain on bike.
Yeah, he needs to pop that Rhino, and then the Shield Captain... Has he got Hurricane Bolts, or has he got... let's have a quick gaze. Are you able to tell me if you got it?
He had a salvo launcher, he did.
So
he had a salvo launcher, he did.
So he'll help pop the Rhino, and then he'll probably get a charge in the Repentia, kill half the squad if they've only got a 6+, which they will. So that is some opportunities to get an early lead there. The funny thing would be is if I'm wrong, I don't see 3 units of Repentia on the board, but they could be in reserve, so it could be incorrect. And he's got Battle Sisters inside there. If he's got a bunch of Sisters that deploy out of that into the cover, okay. So we jumped the gun a little bit. He's already hasn't killed the Rhino because we're into the charge phase. That that captain has charged into that Rhino. What can you see dead? I can notice 2 dead Cataphron robots. I can actually even see a wound counter below Celestine, which...
Yeah, well, she was hiding behind the Rhino during deployment, so she's obviously done a bit of a shuffle over to the side and has done some damage. There could be maybe those robots are vehicles. We might have seen some mortal wounds transferred over.
They do explode, which is what has me thinking that they are. So maybe they've exploded, done a mortal wound, because Belisarius Call and the Daedalosus and the Onager have all got a wound dice on them. So I guarantee you one of the Cataphron destroyers has... So Cataphron Breach, whatever. The Castellan robots, god damn it, has exploded. Have exploded. Looks like some damage being run on the Rhino as well. So 2 Castellan robots have been taken down. They're obviously priority number 1 for this Custodes army. But also, see the breaches in front? 2 of those have been killed as well. So he wants to kill the breaches, he wants to kill the robots, just to deny the big hellacious mortal wound spikes. Those are things that can legitimately threaten the Orion. As soon as those are down, it's going to take that one single Onager Doomcrawler 6 turns out of a 5-turn game to kill that Orion. So I think he's pretty safe.
It's an Ares that you're referring to there.
Apologies.
You're right, man. The actual flight path that he's got going on there. So he's obviously jumped over the building, done the minimum range that he can do to move to allow him to give lots of line of sight. It's actually given him a massive amount of boardroom. So he'll be able to stay on there at least till turn 4, turn 5, possibly the whole game, shooting and getting the most maximum effect out of that area as he could. So that's very good placement.
Yeah, he's going to have a big zigzag, isn't he? He's going to go straight down another 20, then across another 20, straight down another 20, across another 20. He could be on the entire game. You're absolutely right. Well called. I suppose that comes with your skill set, right? As a Custodes player, you can read those things. Because admittedly, an Ares is something that is very hard to wield. It's just so big, man. The base is so large.
Yeah, we see a lot of things like this, like the Silent King and these bigger units that personally, they're the things that I like to play with. And we've mentioned a lot earlier, like Gilliman as well. These are the big Death Star things that I like to play with. And you've got to get 5 turns of use out of them. If you're paying the points, you're paying a premium for these sort of things, you need to be able to get 5 things down. So Stefan that we've got there that's controlling the Death of Custodes, he's obviously worked out a bit of a fight path, and he knows pre-game where he's going to have to put that and where he's going to move it to be able to use it the entire time.
Yeah, you got to really deploy with intent with those units. You can't be whimsical with where you put them down. You're just not going to get to use it. You're just hurting yourself in the long run.
Yeah, it does become, as you mentioned there in deployment, it does become quite difficult deploying something like the Ares, because obviously that's what you want to go down first, because it has the biggest, largest base and the field. But you also want to put it down last, because you don't want him lining up his Dune Striders and the robots and the destroyers there, so they can get good lines of fire onto it.
Yeah, exactly right. So are you able to tell us a little bit about the shooting profile of the Ares? I've heard a lot about it. I've never actually played against it, so I haven't felt what it can do to you.
Oh, I would have to turn. Yeah. If you keep chatting, Matt, I'll find it up first.
Fantastic, because there might be something people at home are interested in. So just a quick call on the secondaries of this game. Mr. McGregor playing the Custodes. He's taking Bring It Down. So that's 1 point each for the Castellan robots. Actually, not a bad pick. 2 points for the Onaga Dooncrawler, and then 1 point each for the Mortifiers, the unit of 4. So that's 4, 4, 5. So that's, you get the possible 10 points from that. And those are units he needs to kill, and they're his priority targets, of course. On top of that, the Repentia, of course, will need to go down in addition. He's also taking Grind Them Down. So Killmore, of course, Custodes playing Killmore is a no-brainer. Usually they're going to do it. I do not know if he got a kill in his first turn, though. Because he should have gotten some points already. He's sitting on 0. So I'm not quite sure he got any kills. Maybe he flubbed a little bit on his rolls into the Rhino, because it looks like he's got 2 dice next to it, so maybe it's only got a handful left. Of course, he would have wanted to kill the Cataphron Destroyers as well to stop the +1 to hit on the Castellan robots. I think the last one is priority targets. If you know what priority targets is, you don't need to know. You just take it in the one where you can, and you leave the game with 15 points on it. That's all you need to know. Sit on your home objective, you're going to end with 15 points. It's stupid. They should have. I wish they really had fixed that in the FAQ. His opponent, Mr. Matthew Cross, is taking Engage on all fronts, of which he has scored 3 points already. Interested to know how he scored the 3rd point, how he got into all 4 table quarters on turn 1. I didn't know how he got into the top right-hand corner, but it could be that there is a model. The model underneath that Ares is something that I'm not quite familiar with for the Sisters, and has done a nice little double move for him. Or had a big Miracle Dice advance. Next to that, he has a While We Stand, We Fight. So his While We Stands, risky. It's a risky play. I'm going to look quick look at his list and try and figure out what his While We Stands are, because I've got a feeling. Yeah, I've got a feeling. So some Mortifiers. Is it Destroyers? No, it's not Destroyers. It's definitely the Castellan robots at 500 points. Onaga Dooncrawler is only 130. Is it Call? Call is 200. So yeah, Mortifiers, Call, and the Cataphron robots, the Castellan robots, sorry. Issue is, with him taking Bring It Down, he's already incentivized to get rid of those. I don't know in this matchup with the Ares how he was going to guarantee keeping those alive, because those are the major priorities for the Custodes. Custodes need to kill the Cataphron robots 100%. They must die in this game. Otherwise, in like 2 turns, they can legit wipe a Custodes army off the table. It's actually ridiculous with their double shoots plus Call plus 1 to hit and stuff. So yeah, I'm actually pretty interested to see what happens in this one. I feel like it's going to actually be a decent swing on the scoreboard. Going to back the Custodes from this position as well. I feel like their swathe of secondaries actually fits a little bit better to my mind. And mostly because Bring Me Down. I mean, priority targets equal each other out. They're both going to end with 15. Whatever. While We Stand, We Fights is what I worry about for the Sisters. Engaging on fronts, they're probably going to get a decent score there as well. Bring It Down. The likelihood of the Custodes ending up with like a minimum of 8 for that is pretty high. Maybe they don't get the Onaga Dooncrawler, but they're going to get the Castellan robots. Probably going to get the Mortifiers. And yeah, it just is what it is. Killmore is probably a given as well, with what we've seen go on. We're getting a unit of Repentia out of that Rhino. Looks like it is a full 9-man unit. They're going to have a nice fatty charge. Oh, looks like the Rhino's dead.
It just seems to be shuffling backwards, I think.
Of course. Good. Yeah, I thought he was picking up to pull it off the table, but he's now just shuffling it under the overhang. So yeah,
just Disembark we've got there.
Yeah, you've got the Repentia out, Disembark. Unfortunately, they're going to eat that shield captain. They might even eat the grav tank as well. It's actually quite likely they kill both. That's the power of Repentia, guys. They just trade.
That's actually the sad power of the shield captain. It's not actually able to get rid of a Rhino there.
No, he's not. 144 points. That's a 170 point shield captain. And how much is a Palace grav tank? 95.
95.
Yeah. So 250 odd points is going to be eaten up by 100 points less of them, and they're probably going to overkill both. Repentia, too good. Too good still. Points increase, not enough.
100%. The George has been very, very nice enough to go through the stats for us in the chat for that Aries gunship. So
why'd I even ask you to do it? It could have just been George.
I
just
don't know, man.
reels
George,
it off at
he's just
nauseam.
too fast and too good. So he's pointed out that it's strength and toughness 8. He's got 22 wounds, 2 shots. It's strength 9, AP 4, D3 plus 3 damage. One of the Custodes go-to things from some of their bigger vehicles, and it has reroll wounds against vehicles, which again, like the Telemann, is one of the Custodes go-to. The second gun. Is 48 inches. It's heavy D3, strength 14, so pretty strong.
Yep.
AP 4, D6 plus 3 damage blast.
Not bad.
So he's also mentioned there is a high volume version of both, which most people will know as most Custodes things have a high volume, have like a beam shot, and then another shot which has a bit of a weaker profile, but has more often than not double the shots coming through. So.
Yeah, Mr. Webb's just pointed out that the Custodes players are going to need to dump some CP to turn off the rerolls to hit from the Repentia if he wants any of these guys to survive. That shield captain, Auric Aquilus, Captain Command, Indomitable Constitution, Misericordia, Saber Launcher, Superior Creation. He might not die, guys. Indomitable Constitution, that's extra wounds.
Yes, it is, and it'd be interesting to see whether or not he has given the blood games to him as well.
Yeah, he's got a 5
might be getting some nice little rerolls here.
He's got a 5-up Feel No Pain in addition. He's likely to bounce this. If he turns off rerolls, he's very likely to bounce this off. I'd say more likely than not to bounce this off.
We're actually seeing Matthew commit the Saint as well in there, so he's definitely keen to get in there and do some damage.
Yeah, really interesting. He's jumping Celestine over as well. I mean, Celestine, admittedly, she's got decent odds to do a bunch of wounds to the grav tank. She's probably not going to kill it. I think she's going to be winning it on 4s, and she'll need it's 9 wounds. 8 wounds.
Yeah, he's got 9 wounds, that big boy.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that he kills it. So a couple of 3 or 4 Repentia in there will probably put it over the top. But then that means you're definitely not killing that shield captain. Like, no way, no how. We might transition over to our last game. So this will be table 4. Yeah, back to the Eldari game, the one we didn't have the secondaries for to call at the time. We'll transition over to that. Anything you guys specifically want us to look at while you're in here? We've got 68 people watching. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please chuck up some likes. Please give us a like. Please give us a share. Please subscribe to Art of War to support all the incredible things that we were able to do. And also give us a shout out. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us what you're excited about and where you're at in this big wide world. So the translation should be coming through any moment now. There we go. So this is getting pretty saucy. The Cerberus Raiders have engaged into the body of this army. We didn't read the list off for this though, did we?
I was about to mention that. No, we did not.
No, we did actually. We did. Sorry, man. We did.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah. This is the one that has the hodgepodge, 1 unit of Cerberus Raiders, and then not the hodgepodge, just the absolute bucket
that is true.
Correct. Absolute bucket of different stuff. So many different things. Yeah, you're right there. And then this one has the 4 units of 10 Harlequin troop. Let's have a quick look at the secondaries. You want to read off the cop mechanics ones first?
No problem at all, man. So he's gone with deploy scramblers. He has gone with priority targets, and he's gone with while we stand, we fight.
There you go. That is an interesting set of ones. I'm going to read the while we stand, we fights off, but I'm of the opinion they're probably going to be his 10-man troop squads. I don't believe there's anything in his army that is going to be more expensive than them. 115.
It could be those Scorpus tanks.
Oh, no, sorry. Apologies. I got the wrong way around. Yeah, it will be the Cataphron robots. Castellan robots. It's got Cataphron breaches. Cataphron destroyers, 235 points. That's probably going to be one of them. Castellan robots, 500 points, of course. And then it's going to be Call as well. We've seen 2 players on the same... Two players in the same set of 3 games have both taken while we stand to leverage Call being an absolute beast to try and get rid of. And they both had a unit of 4 Cataphron robots. So that's actually an interesting little piece there. The fact that they can shoot into combat now and move without the penalty is probably big enough. It's probably good enough that they're good again. But for 100 points a pop... over 100 points a pop, I still can't get behind him.
No, well, we mentioned earlier some of the other units that are able to, like the Terminators and stuff, are able to get into combat and also shoot. So the combat-wise from these guys are not actually able to do the same, and the cost of these models are a lot higher. So they cannot actually participate in all 3 phases like we mentioned earlier. It would have been good to see maybe just a couple of combat sort of orientated ones, or just a fist in here or there, just in case if something was to tie them up, they'd be able to punch their way out.
I'd-
You did mention, like you said, that they can just keep shooting.
I would really like to see them be able to take one fist, one phosphor, and then the like pintle phosphor. That would
Yep.
make them sick. That would make them actually cool. Maybe they lose an attack. Maybe they only have 3 attacks then instead of the 4 they'd have otherwise, or maybe they only get the 4 for having the 2 fists. But that would make them cool. They would be able to punch their way out of a lot of stuff. 4 of them would legitimately have like 12 dreadnought attacks, and they'd be fearsome. Like you couldn't just tag them with a guardsman, which is what I do all the time. Yeah, in you go, boys. Don't be scared of the big robots. They're actually not going to hurt you at all. In you go. And they're actually going to have to shoot you next turn. It's actually awesome. But yeah, it's actually pretty frustrating that they still cost 120 points. I expect them to go down. Dude, they could go down by like, maybe not 40 points. They could go down by like 30 points, like 90 points a pop. And they'd be really good at that price point. Whether they'd be broken or not remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's true. So shall we go through Lockie Gordon's secondaries there? You want to run through them for us, Adam?
Yeah, so let's jump through them. So he's got deploy scramblers, makes all the sense in the world. Priority targets, of course, that's the mission. Engage on all fronts. So we're going to look at deploy scramblers to deploy scramblers, even each other out. Priority targets, even each other out. It's going to be engage on all fronts versus while we stand. Now I do give primary supremacy to the Harlequins. I believe Harlequins are pretty much going to win the primary just about every game they play.
They do excel at it.
Maybe, especially if they go second, which I'm of the opinion they've gone second in this game. Is that how you read it as well?
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Yeah. If they've gone second, I think they're going to win the primary. And so then we're going to be looking at while we stand versus engage. So he's being very conservative with the Castellan robots. I like that a lot. They could have been getting charged this turn if they were moved up the board a little bit. The 5-man unit of Cataphren destroyers, I'm not quite sure where they are. They might be inside the blue ruin in the bottom left-hand corner. There would be enough space in there quite easily.
Is that them on the far left-hand side of the table there?
Destroyers?
Oh, sorry. No, they're the robots. Sorry.
Yeah. I can't see where the destroyers are, because the destroyers and the Castellan robots kind of go hand in hand. They kind of buff each other. They both get +1 to hit if they're next to each other for 2 CP.
True.
And so I'd assuming they'd be inside that ruin.
They very well could be on that objective in that ruin, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be assuming they are. Because then they could just move up, look through it, and just get a huge, hellacious amount of fire. They're actually really, really scary in the right hands, but as long as you can keep them safe. They haven't got a great armor save. He's got triple grav cannon and 2 plasma culverins. I wonder what his thinking was between breaking it up. Maybe he just didn't know. He wanted the demon solution, but also wanted a wanted a marine solution, so he just mixed up the unit a little bit.
Very likely.
Yeah. So the scores as they read right now, it's dead even. It's just up by 2 only for engage on all fronts, because he's not going to score while we stand until later. So this is actually going to look bad for the AdMech for the time being, and then we're going to see a big swing come back at the end when we get the while we stands in. Dave Umana has asked if you can get a set of the art of what under objectives. Yes, we're going to be doing an order. I'll be organising that at some point after this. Please PM us on the Facebook page. I'll add you to the list, my man, and we'll see about getting you guys a bit of product. Because these are really nice objectives. Very, very nice. Very high quality neoprene backing. And wonderful, design on the front. What can I say? Everybody should want like a badass Space Marine Ned Kelly. Like, who wouldn't?
Who doesn't want that?
Who doesn't? Interesting. I'm interested to see here if so he's just on a charge into what I assume is breaches. Interested to see if he goes for a wrap. With 3 bikes, the likelihood of him getting wrap is pretty big. No, he's not going for a wrap. He wants to tap the bottom unit instead. Yeah. So he wants to get a pivot down from that into the bottom unit and tap them also. Interesting, they're like Cataphren breaches. These ones have arc claws, which are, I can't remember if the arc claw or is the power fist or not. But yeah, we'll see. Because it could backfire. Because he can have a lot of D3 damage in combat. I just can't remember which one's which. He's got his hat on backwards as well. He's going to actually this up. Look at this bad boy, Callan Henry. But guys in the chat, which game?
McCoy has a question for us here, Adam.
Yep.
What do you guys think Hope will be previewed tonight? And I think actually I'm hoping that you will be a very happy boy when the Lion is announced, Adam. That is what I'm hoping for.
Wow, it's been a long time between Primarchs. So this is this is the scheduled LVO release. They were supposed, LVO every year they release some stuff, they preview some stuff. This is what it was set to be and what's going to be on tonight. Lonely Koi, thank you so much for the donation as well, mate. Thank you, appreciate it. Like anybody who does put a donation, even if it's only $1, we guarantee we will read out your question. We will answer it on stream live. And if it is request of us, we will endeavour to do it. A couple of guys donated a fair few dollars, Mr. Weeb and Gundam, in order to get a Tau game on stream and a Custodes game on stream. Game 4 of this event will be the last time that's an option. Apart from that, we are not going to be... sorry, we're not going to be not sacrificing, but we're not going to be dulling down the content. It's just going to be the top six players playing off on the top 3 tables for the rest of the event. So if you guys do have a faction you want to see on Game 4, chuck it up, chuck a couple of bucks our way. I'll endeavour to make sure it works. Mr. Gojkovic has just joined us. That's Simon, former ETC...
Oh, the phone.
Yeah, former Australian WTC captain in 2018 jumped in. TTS legend, is that fair to say? Maybe our TTS hasn't been around long enough for us to have legends in it yet, but he is everywhere on the TTS sphere. But dude, just
general legend, just legend in general.
Just a quick call of this game. What are you seeing here, man?
I was seeing, like we usually do, a lot of shenanigans, a lot of movements coming around from the older player. There's a big group of Adelaide players that are sitting there in the middle, sort of spanning between the 2 objectives, waiting for a bit of a counter-assault thing they've got going on. It looks like they're taking care of those Cerberus Raiders, doing what they can do early. Eventually coming in, I think we're going to see a bit of a big play here for those robots. Obviously, they're one of the Wildby stands that we've got there. They're not pushing out too much. They like to stick together. They do, the old Harlequins here.
Yeah, this table is very good for them. This deployment map is very good for them. That middle line of sight piece of terrain means they get to stage on the other side of their army and just pretty much just do as they please. As you can see, the bikes just bounced out of combat, guys. They just went in there, they attacked, they didn't do all that much, and now they just spent 2 CP, and he's bouncing him back over onto the no line of sight terrain. I would like to point out, the Cerberus Raiders are still alive. He must have declared a charge upon them, and they bailed out, but I think he did make the charge. I think there's a single Sky Weaver that has made it into combat with them, because they were on the other side of that barricade. He made the charge, he bailed them. I think they moved 12 or 14 inches around to the other side, but he still did make the charge. But the important bit is he's on the other side. He's pretty protected. He's going to get to use them again.
Yeah, that's it. He's able to still use some tricks there, be able to still use them as a screen like he wants to there.
Interesting.
That's great for Callum.
This is actually a big deal. So I believe the Cerberus Raider was zoning off the middle objective. They were stopping the Harlequin troop from making contact. So the Harlequin troop declared a charge in order to get on that objective, which is why the Cerberus Raiders left. And now, because of that, in response, that objective is open. There's nothing on it. So his opponent, the Harlequin player, spent 2 CP after he's attacked into those breaches and has bounced out onto that objective to hold it. Well played, boys. There's a lot of shenanigans that just happened there, and I like it. I like it a lot. Big play there to Lockie Gordon. By both of them, both big plays. Big play by Callan to pay 2 CP to keep his Cerberus Raiders alive, or it's 1 CP. Lord knows it shouldn't be 1 CP if it is. And then a 2 CP by his opponent to respond to that void he felt he left, and fill it up with something that's going to hold that objective. Admittedly, they will be able to get shot, unfortunately. But then it's up to so a lot of things that are interesting about having one Harlequin, three-wound Harlequin bike exposed. You got to shoot something that's going to kill all 9 wounds of them. Otherwise, he just picks up the three guys and nothing else can shoot him. Admittedly, he does have 2 disintegrators there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he definitely does there. I'm just going back to the chat. Sorry, Jack Vincent has asked, when can we expect dice trays with Adam's face on it? Look, we've ordered a bunch of 500, but we all wanted them for ourselves. So I've just got them hanging on my wall as pictures all around my house just to keep myself entertained.
Man, let us all pray that never happens. The world does not deserve this. You guys deserve better. But yeah, dude, I wouldn't mind getting some with our logo on it, like just the Ned Kelly, like staunching up. That would be sick to get some dice trays with that on it. I actually might look into that. That's nice. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a very good game to call. Which I feel like we need to. Yeah. With that big play, I think we should leave it there. We've peaked for a moment. Which one would you like to see? Would you like to see the Custodes Sisters Admech?
Yeah. Well,
or would you prefer to see the
let's go see the Tau.
Yeah, we should see the Tau.
Let's keep Mr. Weeb happy. Let's get some Tau going.
Absolutely. Well, he certainly paid for the privilege, and it
he
must be
did. As did Gundam
gentleman.
For his Custodes.
Yes, of course. But yeah, what are you seeing on this one, brother? If it's come up for you.
It hasn't yet, but Sleepy Gary does believe in the fish people. So that's good, Gary. Thanks for that. I used to
believe in the fish people too, guys. I got burnt.
I had a brief stint as when Space Marines and Tau could hold hands. I had a brief stint of putting Tigerius with some broadsides, so I can't.
The vile days of 7th, yeah.
Yeah, I can't be too harsh on the fish people. So looking at the game here, we haven't seen a lot of movement here. So the right hand side, Craig is actually just pushing up his the Sky Hammer there. No, not Sky Hammer.
Sky
He's
Ray.
just pushing that up towards the Sky Ray up next to the Riptide. They're actually doing a positional switch. The two of them there blocking a screen for each other. So apart from that, the broadsides are still in the building. Everything for Tau has basically stayed where it is. On the left-hand side, we are seeing some missing units. So the top of that balcony there, where we've seen all the parties going on all day, there seems to be a lot of things moved from there. I believe did we have a bunch of Thousand Suns
So we had
sitting up there before?
had a Rhino with rubrics, a unit of Zangors, and an Exalted Champ. Most of those things are gone, it seems.
Yeah, it does. So maybe we're seeing some good firepower from those broadsides. Just laying down some heavy firepower there. We're still seeing on the bottom left-hand side of the table in that orange and grey building, there is a Demon Prince sitting behind there, not up to much. And beside that is some Rhino. So we're not actually getting a lot of view of what's on the table here from both armies. So it's very difficult to trade. At least they're not all hiding in the tree this time. That is good to know.
We'll like to point out the Cold Star was hiding on the inside of that Riptide. He's now moved out to join that Riptide. Looks like he's got a couple of drones to back him up as well. Might be insulating from the deep strike of the Scarabocol Terminators, just to make sure he gets a little bit of a response to them. He's got these two kind of bricks of his army. He's kind of spread into two zones of influence, because of course that's what his opponent does. He's mirroring his opponent in order to gain advantage. I would just love to see one of those Riptides just sprint into the middle, like move your 12 or your 10 or whatever it is, and then use your jetpack move of 2d6 in the assault phase just to get onto that middle objective, because it would create this I'm going to win the primary if you don't do anything influence that the T-Suns would need to respond to. Because right now, you can see what's happening. While we were talking about the secondaries weighing up, 3 points from a priority targets have come in, 2 points from engagement fronts have come in, only 2 points from a border which has come in for his opponent. So that means he's probably killed some so 2 points could only be rubrics in this game. Either rubrics or Scarabocol Terminators. Everything else is going to give up 3. And if you killed a character, it would be a 3, and you also have assassinate points. So he's killed some rubrics. So it's but that's where the tide is going to be. Every turn, he's going to get 2 engage, and he's going to get 3. He's going to get 5 points on his secondaries every single turn, and he's going to start getting banners. He's going to start getting 2 banners a turn as well, because even if he does wipe out everything in the top left-hand corner, he's got nothing there to pull it down. He needs to, admittedly, the best thing he could do is clear everything up there now, next turn, and then turn 3, pop up Dire Grek onto that objective and pull down that banner. But I'm of the opinion Dire Grek just popped up into the middle of the table in that forest.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Adam, I don't know if your chainsaw ran out of petrol there in between rounds, but you needed to go and chop that down, man. And now
I forgot.
People are making the most of it again. It is actually the bane of our existence right now. It is constantly just hiding models that we have no idea what is going on.
Yeah, I will get them replaced with actual forests tomorrow by the game 4 tomorrow, just so we can actually see what the hell is going on in them. Yeah. Simon, Adam, I watched a VOD of your Masters game last night. It was a good pushback versus the Harleys, and I think you just ran out of time in turns, and going first sucked for you in that matchup. Dude, absolutely right. Going turns sucked for me. I had a bunch of ways in which I could have messed with his primary. I had 3 big plays to mess with his primary. None of them came off. I had to make an 8-inch charge with a reroll to give him a 0 primary turn. Would have won the game. On the last turn of the game, he had 6 Harlequin troop, and I had 5... Never mind. I need to kill 6 Harlequin troop with some Terminators in combat and a whole Talonmaster shooting and combat, and I killed 3. If I kill 2 more, I win the game. But it doesn't matter. Lost by 2 points. Amazingly great game. Brian is a freaking legend, and I'm very happy with how I played, so no regrets.
And on that, shout out to Bruce Gordon, who's donated $2 there.
Hey.
Very, very lovely and very generous of you. Thank you very much.
And doesn't want anything from us. Please ask a question, Bruce Gordon.
Oh, mate, where's your request?
Yeah. You can't just give us money for nothing. Frankie Michael, is this tournament allowing Modcar to allow fallback and shoot out of curiosity? I don't know if it was a part of the FAQ packet. I can confirm to you right now that is the absolute intent of the wording and absolute intent of the designers. I've been told that unanimously from sources that have direct lines with the design team, and they've said yes. 100%, you're supposed to be able to fall back and shoot with Modcar. That's how the WTC is going to be ruling it. That's how I expect ITC to be ruling it. That's how I expect it to be played.
Just shout out to the other Queensland Art of War boys, because that has come up in our chat. A bit of contention whether or not that is by letter of the law allowed. So that's been a hot one debated by us.
Yeah, what did you guys rule on it?
Well, yeah, let's not get into that one because that will open a can of worms that will last longer than the last 3
last 3 days of the tourney here. But
Yeah.
let's just say I'm happy to get into that discussion again with Eric now that you've gone the way that you have.
Yeah, because 100%. I've spoken to the guys who are with the design team. And they're like, yeah, you're supposed to be able to fall back and charge. That is fall back and shoot. That is the intent.
The main thing to me, it seemed like it was an addition hangover. So obviously the wordings have changed.
Yeah,
and
but
all the
why the
motive
hell?
rules and stuff have changed.
Just if that's what you
Just FAQ it, man. Just
Yeah.
FAQ it.
if that's they did FAQ it, and it's still ambiguous. If they intended it
Yeah,
to,
that's the problem. Yeah.
if they intended it to be unambiguous, and that's frustrating, very frustrating, very silly. Bruce Gordon, Adam, what would you take for 1,000 points of Dark Angels in a 1,000 point tournament? So depends how
I hear
hard.
Chaos Sorcerers are pretty good.
Shut up, Bruce. Tell me how hard you want to go. Do you want to win this thing, or do you want to have a good time? You let me know, and I'll tell you what you need to take. Okay, so where are we at with this one? I haven't seen anything be picked up necessarily. This is going to be a really I don't envision.
Not really. It's
As long as the tower player doesn't take the middle objective, which he has with Diet Greg, but there's nothing to keep Diet Greg alive. He just dies to the most minuscule of shooting.
yeah, like you mentioned, he needs to push one of those Riptides in there. That's what he needs to do.
Push the Riptide into the middle. Rest of the game is sitting on a 3+ invuln, and yeah, he has to. The only way he kills it, pulls out smites. As soon as he pulls out smites, he's playing into your assassinate, playing into your border witch. All the doors and opportunities open up for you. But yeah, as long as he's not taking the middle, there's no.
He also has that backup second Riptide that he can also do it as well. So
Exactly
rip
right.
that first one up, let it die, turn 3, turn 4, whenever he needs to. Bring the second one up.
And then he's got a Cold Star that can move 40 inches and do the same thing. So yeah, I mean, if he wants to, he just puts a unit of drones up there. It's actually really hard for bolters to kill shield drones. So maybe he'd have to use smites as well. Once again, opening doors, opening opportunities. But right now, this is just a static game of not much, which is going to go the T-Sun's way unless the tower shakes things up.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so Bruce Gordon has had a chat to you. He wants to win, man. He wants to know how to win. What is he going to do?
Okay, so of course you take a Ravenwing Apothecary. Of course you make it what it is. Now up to you. You can go two kind of different ways. I do like one unit of Terminators in reserve. Take whichever ones you want. I would take a minimum of one Talon Master. If you really want to be an absolute bastard, you take two. At 1,000 points, I wouldn't. I'd probably just take one and then take Primaris Chappie. So Talon Master, Primaris Chappie, and Apothecary. Those are your three characters. It's probably going to end up being like 400 of your points. One unit of Infiltrators. This is a patrol, obviously. And of course, the Apothecary is not, it's an elite choice, so this is fine. I would take one unit of Plasma Inceptors. They're still some of the best units in the game. You still want to take them all the time. Your release choice is up to you. You probably want a unit to bodyguard. You probably want some Deathwing Terminators. I'd probably take a unit of 5 that are either one unit of 5 or one unit of 10. Take a unit of 10. That's probably your whole army. You're probably not doing anything else. Probably pretty static and not much going on. But 1,000 points, if you're not you won't be playing on a full-size board, to my mind. So you can bully a hell of a lot better with those Terminators on a smaller board. So yeah, one Talon Master, Primaris Chappie to let you sling stuff, and also if you want to put those Terminators in reserve, he can move out, he can deep strike them for you, and then he give you a 4-inch charge from reserve, which is heinous. You can also make that Chappie and tick him up with all the goodness, all the what's the special Crozius, the 3 damage one. Give him all the good stuff. I also am a big fan of a unit of Eliminators in for Dark Angels. They give you so much utility. But really up to you if you want to go with those. So yeah, one Talon Master, one unit of Terminators of your choosing, Primaris Chappie on black, Ravenwing Apothecary, and then Inceptors. And that's probably everything you need to kill everything. Is that 1,000 points? Might be a little bit over. Maybe make some compromise and you don't take 6 Inceptors. Because if you're able to take 6, like you combat squad them most of the time. If you take 10 Termies, you combat squad them most of the time. And yeah, you are just good to freaking go. And it's really, really that bit of a rough army. But yeah, pretty basic, nothing special there. But yeah, Adam stamp of approval endorsed Talon Masters.
Good run down there, Adam. Nice, I like it. Very good. If you are chasing a bit more in-depth analysis of units, Bruce, feel free to jump onto the war room there. Have a chat to the boys in there, and they'll give you a bit extra of a rundown as well as Adam's expert opinion.
Yeah. Bit yuck, that army. At 1,000 points, you might not be making any friends. I'm not even sure that fits. That's probably too many points, but it'll do the job, man.
Tom has pointed out that are you even having fun if you're not winning? So
who pointed that out?
Everyone's favorite whack gamer, Simon.
Oh man, that's not Simon. Simon needs to be having fun. We just transitioned over to the Sisters and the Custodes game just to see the kind of state of play. It's interesting to see the Mortifiers have made it into that upper forest in the top of the board. I'm not quite sure what they charged up there, but I can still see some gold, so maybe there's something still alive.
They would be the shield boys.
Yeah, so it looks like they survived. I think only one of them's left. Big charge, so not the big charge, the small charge by the Repentia into the shield captain has not borne the fruit of bringing him down. He's still alive. But
It definitely has not. He is still there.
Palace Grav Tank is gone. This is a bunch of dice being rolled. I wonder what would still roll this many. Maybe this is 27 shots coming out of the Cataphren, so Castellan robots, because they would still throw this many dice. Or we haven't seen the combat with the Mortifiers yet, and this is them doing their swingy, flaily flails. You remember The Simpsons when it's like, I'm just going to do this, swing my arms, and if you get hit, it's your own fault? Literally what those guys do.
Sorry there, Adam. I was reading some of the comments there. What was that, mate?
Remember that you did the hockey episode of Simpsons where Lisa gets good at hockey, and they have that fight where Bart just swings his arms, and I'm going to do this. And if you get hit, it's your own fault. I'm just going to
swing my arms like this.
Literally penitent engines, literally Mortifiers. That's exactly what they do.
That definitely is.
And so I think this will be them attacking, because this is the only thing in the army that's in the combat phase that is going to throw this many dice. So yeah, interesting to see if any Custode guys survive this. They're only 3-mans. He's got 3.
Yeah, they are only 3-mans.
He's got 3 3-mans?
Yeah, 3 3-mans he's got, because he's got a battalion there.
I don't mind 3 3-mans. I actually made a crazy ass list that had 6 3-mans. And then it had 9 Alaris that break up turn 1, and then you put 2 Alaris with each squad. So it still has some killing power, and it's just really hard to get the OBSEC away, and has all the jank that the Alaris come with. And it plays while we stand, we fire really well.
That's why I knew about that banner that I mentioned earlier, the Missionaries banner, that gives you units of counts as 3 instead of 1, because lists like that really benefit from that.
Dude, I'm going to look into that. That's really, really nice.
It's one of the shadow traits there, one of the shield hosts that you can take. And it is actually pretty good. You can actually get up to a 9-inch buff on the Vexella. Obviously, you lose your Neg 1, which a lot of people are questioning whether or not we should be taking that Neg 1 banner. I still always take it. I think it's good. I'm in the opinion of probably taking 2 of them and having the +1 attack like we've seen previously on that list, and that list did a lot of damage, so it's obviously got some nounce to it.
Do you believe the banners are meant to be free, or they just forgot to put them on the FAQ? The changes.
I will believe what I want to believe, and I believe they are meant to be free.
Good call. That's fair. I can't disagree with that one. Brett Davey has a totally legal list. Lol. The Farsight Enclave stratagem can only be used on units from Farsight Enclave detachments. By including Kroot and Vespid, they are now Tau Empire detachments. What's the PA Farsight Enclave stratagems? So how has he used any of the stratagems? He's got Farsight in a auxiliary detachment. He's in his own detachment. I'm not quite sure what you mean, mate. Feel free to post up what you're talking about. Yeah, not too sure. Please feel free to PM the TO with that stuff. I'm not here to active judge or adjudicate anything. I'm here to call the games. But yeah, thanks for letting us know if that is true or correct. Yeah, some action should be taken by the TO, absolutely. Although Craig is the loveliest man ever, I would certainly believe it wasn't anything malicious. Like, I mean, even cheating, I don't think Tau can win a tournament. I'm sorry, guys.
Don't take his wooden spoon off him, man.
I'm sorry.
Take his wooden spoon off him.
Don't you do that to him, Shoe Patty.
War Magic has pointed out that they have made other banner type equipments free, and that is true. And that's why when you said what do I believe it should have been free. The Astartes banners and all those kind of things.
Okay.
They're also free as well. So it seems to me like in this edition that they're making stuff like that for free.
By including Kroot and Vespid, they are now Tau Empire detachments. Okay. Yeah, he uses the veteran card stratagem to buff his crisis team. He doesn't have a crisis team, by the way. Shoe Patty, like his list.
He definitely does not.
Is
it Brent Davey that's playing that? Because I thought it was Craig.
Oh, so sorry. No, you're talking about a different list. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Craig. Brent Davey is a different player. Apologies. Yeah, by all means, if there is an illegal list that you find at this event, people need to know. That is a thing. Send it in.
Yep.
Let the TO know. Do what you got to do. I'm sorry, Mr. Weeb. I'm sorry. I put so much haze on their towel. They're just trying to do the right thing for them all the time against people's will, which is exactly the same as the Imperium, so whatever. Everyone's as bad as each other, except for the Orcs. The Orcs are just there for a good time, man. They're the pleasure
He's
seeking.
pointing at Brent Davey is the other one, yeah. So
Yeah, apologies.
there we go. Oh, good. All right, well, at least we're getting some updated scores here from these boys.
Yeah,
So the sisters have got a primary of 10, an engagement of front of 3, priority targets of 3 for a total of 26. Coming in against the Custodes, which are 0 for primary.
last 3 players, hopeless. Never heard of him. They never heard of the score. Never heard of the scorecard. These guys are freaking legends. Legends. Love them.
Yeah.
Interesting to see, yeah, the 10-point. I suppose that's because the sisters have had their turn 2. The Custodes haven't had their turn 2 yet. Once they do, their primary will score will be up. But as it is right now, the Custode, you see that shield captain at the in the bottom right hand corner? That little legend is holding that objective over those sisters because he's offset and they're not. Custodes
the
privilege.
Beauty of Custodes.
Custodes privilege.
The beauty of Custodes.
So no one's holding the middle. Custodes is probably sitting on 2. I'm expecting a bit of a unit of Custodes guard in the blue top right hand corner ruin. So he's holding 2, and it should be 2 to 2. So it should be just another 10 points racked up for the Custodes. Naturally, I'm assuming
right there.
Naturally, I'm assuming that Custode, depending on how many wounds he took, but I think the shield captain probably has to fall back. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think maybe he doesn't want to be in combat there, but falling back doesn't really help him too much apart from just jumping on the objective. So he may just sit there for the rest of the game on that objective, just racking up points for as long as he can, keeping the Repentia out of the game.
Well, he can't run away from him.
So he may not have to jump out of there.
Yeah, he can't run away from him because they'll catch him. But if he stays there, he probably dies. Probably.
Eventually he's going to get wound down.
I don't think there's anything within range to come in for the rescue. What's in the bottom right-hand corner that you can see down there?
Yeah, I was about to mention there's something there at the bottom right-hand side. It's too big to be a mortifier. I don't know if he had any mortifiers or not, but it could be a single mortifier.
You didn't have any singles to my mind. I'll quickly go back to his list. Is it... So it is nothing from the Custodes. He's got Valoris hiding out somewhere. I'm guessing he's back in the
so it
home
could be
ruin.
Trajan.
If it's Trajan,
I don't know how he...
Trajan to the rescue. Maybe he's using a Valdor model, which is why it's so big. That would make sense at least.
Maybe because he does have a unit of 4 Aquilin. I doubt he's lost them Aquilin, but they could be hiding in the ruin with them because they've got some big-ish bases as well. Yeah,
so the best thing he can do actually would be if he's got the Vexillus Praetor anywhere near. Big move in advance from him, dropping the Aquilin Terminators. Let them shoot somewhere significant, e.g. into his backline. Actually, can you tell me a little bit about the twin Draythic Destructor? I've heard of that weapon before, but is that the Strength 6 -3/2 damage ones?
Yeah, I'll have to get George, our main man, on the Custodes.
We got George.
I can't actually access my book currently.
Why am I
using my iPad for the stream?
Why am I even asking you, brother? No, it's fine.
I do not know, mate. The man of the people, George G. He's always here to back us up all the time.
George will be. Yeah, George will let us know. Because I actually don't know which ones they are.
He definitely will.
Because the one I hear about all the time is, of course, the Lastrus. Because it's so good. It's so strong. The double shoot off that is hellacious. Really big fan. The more I'm seeing Custodes play, the more I feel like I want to play him as well. It's so cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're fun. I'm keen to see how this Ares goes when it does its dog leg to the left there.
Where's all the mortifiers are gone? What in the hell just happened to all the mortifiers?
Yeah, I dare say it'd be the Ares possibly.
Well, that would mean the Ares has gone into hover.
Oh no, because it would have had to have. Yeah, maybe I don't see it going into hover.
No, me either.
Although there's not a lot that can do with it really.
Well, a unit of Repentia probably half kills it, right? With the +1 to wounds.
Yes, but he only has that 1 unit tied up with that shield captain. Is that correct?
No, he's got 3, man. He's got 3 units of Repentia.
Oh, he's got 3 units. Okay, then
the other 2 I'm assuming is in reserve. So he doesn't want to hover. He doesn't want to hover in no way, no how. Sorry, 2 units of Repentia. My apologies. So he's still got 1 more, and I'm assuming that one's in reserve because I can't see it on the table. 1 more unit. Someone also do the math for me on that. Does 1 unit of Repentia kill that guy? Someone just said, announcers won't tell the TO the Tau list is illegal because it's not a Tau list on our stream, and it's not my job to police the event. Sorry, dude. I'm here to War Magic. I'm here to call the game. By all means, by all means, after the event, after I've done streaming, I will probably tell the TO to look up to make sure and check what has been sent through. But dude, I'm not here. I'm not going to jump off and stop doing my job to do someone else's job. No problems. I'll probably fix it up afterwards. So the twin Adrenaline Destructors, Assault 2, Strength 5, -3, 3 damage. Ooh, lordy, 3 damage, man. That's pretty sauce.
Yeah, 3 damage. Yeah, I was pretty certain that was the case because you get similar guns on the bikes that can do some flat 3 damage as well. Yeah, so Custodes really benefiting from that. A lot of the D3 damage that we had previously really just left us wanting, and was pretty average for us. But yeah, that 3 damage is a massive boost, especially in the edition where we're seeing a lot of Gravis armors, toughness 5, 3 were in Space Marines floating around.
Oh, sorry, apologies, Warmatic. Steve Turner was who I was addressing. Yeah, by all means, Steve, reach out to the TOs. I'll hit up the TO as soon as we're done here. Make sure he's aware to look for the messages, to look at the players list. But yeah, I'm not going to leave the stream, leave you guys hanging, and stop doing my job to police a tournament when it's not my job. It's nothing to do with me. And yeah, I'm not a judge.
As Ben Vickers has pointed out, he's actually 0 and 2. So
yikes, 0 and 2. Well, he needs to cheat harder. I mean, reach for the stars, my boy. Stuff it. Call it a sphere expansion, and just be like, everything is on 2s. We're in war mode. But yeah, I want to know what happened to the mortifiers. That's a big swing on points if they've gone down, man. 4 points for bring it down. Probably swinging some grind them down points as well. So grind them down wise, the only things that I've seen being killed by the sisters this turn is that Palace Grav tank, and also a possibility of 3 Custode Guard in the top that got killed by the mortifiers that have now mysteriously disappeared. I've got no idea where they are. They could be at the top of the board, but I'm of the opinion that a consolidated pilot wouldn't have got them out of our range of view. There's only about 6 inches that we can't actually see of the table. So 4 mortifiers hanging up there, I do not believe that is the case. What game should we switch to now, my man?
I'm pretty happy to go to anyone. Have a look at the tower there. We'll see what the tower's going on.
Yeah, let's
And just while you're doing that, Eric keeps shouting me out to see how Jeremy's going. So Jeremy is on 2 wins. He has 158 battle points right now, and he's currently sitting in 16th place.
Jeremy's going strong, my man. He's from all the players I think you guys should watch, Jeremy is the only person in attendance at this event who's won a 3-day major. And he's won 3 3-day majors. Jeremy is a Triple Crown CanCon champion, guys. Maybe might be aware. So he's the 3-day specialist at this event. And a lot of people are looking at him as a dark horse because he has had a lot of strong showings recently. But man, I've got high hopes for Mr. the Marigold. See how he goes. But yeah, switching over to the tower game. What can you see has happened, brother?
Right, so we're seeing whether or not we're seeing the tree still in the middle of the table there, so we don't know whether there's anything there.
I can see a base.
Not,
I can see a base above it.
I'm assuming that is that little shadow there could be a base there. So he's still sitting there. We haven't seen much movement from the tower. So both of you are of the opinion that one of those Riptides needed to make a beeline for the center objective there, and then be supported by the second one to help get a bit ahead on the primary. We're seeing some Rhino having a bit of a shuffle sideways around the balcony party building that we've been calling it so far. And then just looking through, we'll go have a look at a bit through at the score. So primary, we're sitting on 10-10. We're sitting even on both of those. Priority targets is sitting up ahead on 6. Engage on all fronts is 2, and Raise the Banners is on 2. So James Milner and his Thousand Sons are sitting on 30. Craig Hamilton, the People's Champion of South Australia, the most beloved player and the friendliest guy getting around all of Adelaide. He is sitting on 10 for primary, 0 for Assassinate, 0 for Scramblers, obviously, and 4 for Ball the Witch. So since we've been gone and come back, he's got another 2 points there. Both boys are battle ready, and we are looking at a 6-point lead, 30-24, in favour of the T-Suns.
Yeah, so remember what I said about as soon as the Tau player held the middle, the T-Suns player would have to come out, and he's done exactly that. Direct deep striking into the middle of the table has forced an investment from the T-Suns player. I'm going to wonder if that's Zangor's, because Zangor's had the +1 to charge. They're the most reliable thing to get into that middle board and to get the charge of. There's no other way for him to really close that distance, apart from like warp timing up. A much more expensive unit of Rubik Marines. So from his small squads, he's got 2 10-man Rubik Marine squads, unit of 10 Zangors. He also has the Scarab Occult, which I'm kind of waiting to see where they are. He also has a Mauler Fiend, which has been unheralded. I've got no idea where the guy is. We can't see him. And so the 2 units of Rubik Marines, both 10-mans. Oh, sorry, both 9-mans. Our fluffy bunny over here. And yeah, a unit of 10 Zangors. How many models there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold the phone, Adam. We have some models becoming available. Mr. Wee pointed out earlier that it doesn't even look like anyone is playing, which is true. But we're starting to very slowly have some models come out. Is that what do we got there? Is that a Herald or is that Araman himself? Something's cruised out into the top left, the center left side of the table there.
Yeah, I'm very interested that he's exposing that character. I'm hoping he is aware of what a Cold Star can do on a smaller table. He can sling himself 40 inches. I'm going to have a quick look at what that Cold Star's got equipped with. Is he all fusions?
Do believe just even those broadsides alone are able to just draw a line of sight to it as well. So he will be in a bit of trouble unless James has a plan for that.
Well, it might be that's where the Scarab Cult are coming down. Really weird. Or maybe, oh no, he's going to slingshot himself up. He's going to do a self warp time and he's going to jump himself up into that ruin right next to the Rhino.
He wants to get involved in the party, on the balcony party.
Exactly right. He's going to the party balcony to have some fun. But yeah, he's going to do a self warp time for sure. He's going to slingshot up there. The issue is though, he fails the warp time and he gives up 6 points. Like the three more for a ball, which 3 more assassinate, and that would all of a sudden they're even Stevens. That would be a 30-point game from there. When right now all he has to do is do nothing, and he'll just as long as he gets the middle objective cleared, all he has to do is do nothing, and he'll just every turn he'll extend his lead by another 3 points. So he'll probably end up winning by 15 if he does nothing, and the Tau player does nothing as long as he holds the middle.
And in saying that, it does look like both players are currently doing nothing. There is not a lot of movement shenanigans. This is very, very different to the Thousands of Suns list we saw in round 1, which was just dominating the middle of the table and just moving out and touching everything and getting lots of smites off and whatnot. So this is playing very differently.
Yeah, exactly right. Really defensive posture by the T-Suns player. I think he's just gone for his charge and he's failed. Or maybe he's just he'd be casting powers. He'd be self-buffing right now.
Yep.
Because he's pointing at sorcerers and saying, this guy's doing this, this guy's doing this. You can see it all.
There's a 6.
Playing out.
So that one's gone off.
Yeah, pretty much everything these guys will go off on a 6, with the exception of like Death X, which is not, or Doombolt, which is not going to cast.
I'd very much like to stay with this game until we find out what is actually happening with that sorcerer there, Adam.
With the what?
With that sorcerer or whatever he's got. Is that armor?
Yeah. I'll just have a quick look at how many of his guys actually have warp time, because whichever guy has warp time is probably that, because the warp time range is so small he'd have to have another sorcerer next to him to give it to him. So Araman has Glamour, Prescience, and Weaver of Fate, so it's not Araman. He has another guy with Hell of the Third Eye, Prescience, Smite, Warp Time, so that's that guy. It's definitely going to be that guy. Oh, so he has a second who's also Assault that also has Warp Time as well. So it could very well be either of those. Maybe he doesn't use the Helm of the Third Eye guy. He's worth a bit more. I will let you know that if either a Warp Time has gone off onto that unit of Zangors, they look like Zangors to me. Either a Warp Time has gone off that unit of Zangors, or we're into the charge phase already. I'm of the opinion it's probably a Warp Time. They'd strung back in such a way that if you look to the left of... Actually, apologies. I'm going to have to retack most of what I just said. If you look to the left of that orange ruin, there was a sorcerer there who's just Warp Timed that unit up. So he's not warp timing the guy onto the far left. The guy on the far left is Araman, I realized. Unless his last Exalted Sorc are on discs. Ah, yes, he does have one on disc. Does he have warp time? No, he does not. Devastating Sorcery, Death Hex, and Zinch's Firestorm. So yeah, it's Araman, brother.
We're expecting to see some Terminators drop down then.
Yeah, but he's out of movement phase. He can't drop the Terminators unless he's forgotten. Mate, never heard of him.
Yeah, we had another question there from Eric about how is Brian doing, the King Killer.
So Brian,
he's been Brian Lakeland, the King Killer, as he's been now touted.
He actually went down to my boy Dean Simbeck in the last round.
Yeah, so he's on 1 win, 144 battle points, sitting in at 40th.
144 battle points with 1 win, of course. Yeah, so he had it. Yeah,
one and none. 1 and 1. Sorry.
Yeah, interesting that he went down to Simbeck. I'd like to hear what that game got. And actually, I haven't had enough time to have any chats with any of my mates. I've been 0% talking during the break, so I can save my voice for you guys.
What are you talking about? We're talking to 81 of our best mates now.
Absolutely right. But every time I try and go take a leak between a round, I got 9 guys running out to me like, I did this. I'm like, no, stay away. You've hurt my voice.
You've done well to keep them off the stream. What I've found so far is that as soon as I put a set of headphones on, everyone just wants to come and talk to me and get involved in my conversations.
Exactly right. Everyone wants to tell you what's going on. And how nice is it, though? How nice is it to just be so involved with the community? Yeah. Everyone's excited. Everyone's having fun. Everyone wants to share the ups and downs. It's wonderful. Yeah, I think this
Yeah,
is going to
100%.
be a pretty easy charge from these Zangors onto Dayak. I mean, admittedly, all they do need to do is get one guy within 3 inches of that objective, and they take it away from him, them being OBSEC and him being not.
Yep.
But probably want to kill him. You probably want to wrap him, to be honest. Actually, holy crap. Wrap him, guys. Mr. T-Sons, Mr. James Milner, you wrap that Croup boy. You wrap him up good, man. He's not gonna. He's gonna.
Yeah,
kill him.
War Magic has a question that's probably best answered by you, Adam. You're the expert at this. Do you guys have yearly tournaments like LVO down here? Is that one of them? I'm picking out destinations for when all this stuff in the world goes back to normal, and 40k is the best excuse, which is definitely true.
Absolute War Magic. So usually at the end of the ITC season in Australia, usually either the same weekend or the weekend before LVO, Australia has our big end of season, essentially LVO equivalent. 8 games, 3 days, no stopping for top 8. Every single player in the event plays all 8 games. Winner takes all is what it is. And then we crown our champion, the ITC champion for the end of the season, faction awards, etc., all that good stuff. So this is kind of our CanCon replacement. CanCon is what usually happens in Canberra. It's a huge convention, huge nerd convention essentially, and we're one of the flagship parts of that, the 40k championships. That was unable to run this year due to COVID. They can't plan a huge, multi-million-dollar convention probably with COVID and the COVID restrictions and things. So instead, the lovely gentleman, Adam Napier, and his team have decided to run this 3-dayer in Adelaide instead, which has actually been incredible. Dude, it's actually going to be hard to pass up this venue again. So we have a massive hall that could easily fit another probably, 30, 40, 50 players in it, fully air-conditioned. We're up in high 30s today. We're going to be in the high 40s Celsius tomorrow. You wouldn't tell. I could put a jumper on right now. It's actually sick. We're close to food, nice chill environment. Big fan. Is he going for the rap? No, he's not going for the rap. I was almost about to lose my mind. I was about, Milner, you damn evil genius. You're doing it. My psychic wavelengths have hit you. I cast a spell. I cast, 2d6. I needed a 7 to cast rap on Dayak Grek. And not sure if Milner got it. Not sure if I was successful. But yeah, sorry, man. I had my little spiel. Give us an update on the game.
Yeah, me?
You there?
Yeah, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool. Okay, so we're seeing a bit of combat here. Like you mentioned, you were talking about the wrap. There seems to be a lot of combat. This is a bit of a pivotal combat here, so we're going to be able to see James Milner control that middle objective. And Craig is going to have to start committing some things to the center, more than likely the Riptides, like we mentioned earlier. Although I do see these getting shot off by the Riptides in the next turn.
Yeah, they'll be picked up very easily, which is why I thought a wrap would really just break this game wide open. Like one single wrap on this guy would actually win the game, I think.
Sorry to interrupt there, but do you think maybe that's a bit of a move by that sorcerer or whatever it is on the left-hand side with the pink cape? Do you think that could be a little bit of a bait to maybe go after that and not shoot the center units?
Possibly. I think it'd be a mistake. I think no matter what, without the
I
wrap,
think so as well.
Those Zangors
a border witch and assassinate wouldn't help.
Yeah, if I was the tower player, I would. It's a 5-point swing to kill the Zangors. It's a 6-point swing to kill the sorcerer. So you just kill the sorcerer. Dayak Grek has been picked up by the Zangors. And
are those Zangors OBSEC, are they? I believe
they are OBSEC, yep, they're troop choices.
So what maybe would have been a better play by James there was only to get 1 or 2 of them possibly into combat and not actually kill old mate and just remain in combat there and just trail those bad boys out there.
Exactly right. That should be the end of the turn for the T-Sons. He's probably going to get a nice, decent, chunky lead going now. I'm expecting him to be up by... He's up by 6 now. He'll be up by 9 by the end of this turn at a minimum. He'll probably have 2 points coming in for the raise the banners in addition to the priority targets and the engage. So yeah, he's going to be up by a couple of points. As you can see at the bottom of the table, there's a unit that's just off our screen slightly. That's what's getting him his 2 points for engaged on all fronts every turn. Because actually he's up in the top left-hand corner with a bit of strength. The bottom left-hand corner is all his strength, and then the others are just gapping onto that side. Yeah, is another one. Probably the tower. They kill the sorcerer, kill the Zangors, kill the 5-man, what I assume is a 5-man Rubik's at the bottom, and call it a day. That's probably a good enough turn. And that's probably bringing back to the status quo. I'm interested to know what he does to stop what was assuming to be a pretty decent incursion at the top of the board. They might come in and try and tap those broadsides. One of the issues with putting the broadsides there, that if he was to, say, get a unit of Rubik's just below the cliff on that ruin, he could charge the broadsides without being shot by the main guns. He could charge the broadsides from being out of line of sight and just be shot by SMS. The same could be said for that Riptide as well. Riptide wouldn't be able to see over the broadsides and over that cliff as well. But they would be a big move. I don't think the 9-inch move would get him quite there. He might need to go another turn. But yeah, dude,
Yeah, I think
all the play for. Let's have a quick. Which table should we jump to? Back to the Stodes or back to the? Oh no, we got to go to the Admech and the Harleys, right? We got to do that.
Yeah, we haven't seen much action there, so yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, what are you expecting to see there? I unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this. Callum is a lovely man. He came up to me before we had a good chat. He's a lovely, lovely dude. But yeah, I am going to have to, unfortunately, due to the mission and especially the terrain, Harleys are very hard to beat going second in these tables, man. Very, very hard.
Definitely, yes. All right, so we'll go straight up. Let's have a look at the score rundown. So right now we're looking at Callum versus
close.
Lachlan. Callum is just pitched ahead early on the 36 versus 35. So it is a 1-point lead here. Again, we can't quite tell whose turn it is. It looks like some kind of combat, I would say, right now. I don't know what it is about the combat phase. Once you're in the combat phase, people seem to lean in a bit closer to each other and roll dice together more so than the shooting phase. It's just how it is. You got to get as close as you can as possible to roll your dice during combat.
Well, it's not called far combat. It's called close combat, mate. Jesus.
That's true. That is very true. You need to get in that range of each other. We're seeing a lot of Harley spread out on the table. So there's a big cluster on that top left-hand objective there. What are you seeing there, Adam?
In the top left-hand corner, dude, those Cerberus Raiders are still alive. Why are they still alive? How are they still alive? That is correct. Well done to Callum. So they've been everywhere. Those Cerberus Raiders have already been everywhere, and they're just a frustration piece of the best kind. So there's Harley troop that look to be zoning off in the top left-hand corner. They're trying to really hold down that objective. They're OBSEC. I don't think anything else that is currently there is. There could be a charge that's going to be occurring from what I assume looks to be Vanguard. He has got a unit of 7 infiltrators as well, which actually is really good into Harlequins. All these flechette blaster shots can actually really kill him. I will double check though that I have some flechette blasters in a moment. We have just had Peter the Falcon come in and haze me slightly. He said, "Garbage commentary. Who'd ever use this guy?" Fair enough. It's a pity. It's a pity that some guy named Peter also asked me to stream for him all next weekend. But I've never heard of that guy, so whatever. Dude, looks like there's quite a few Harleys missing. We've got a unit of 10 in the bottom right-hand corner. A unit of 10 still posturing up behind that barricade in their home objective. The real crazy thing about them is they're in a good position to sling themselves on a lot of different objectives. But if you'll see, the middle of the board is hollowed out from Admech. They've all pulled back and they're swinging up to the side, trying to turn them into Hammer and Anvil. I think it's a good play. They need to be a neutral zone. On top of that, he needs to get firing lanes onto the back of that ruin. Otherwise, the middle ruin, that is. Otherwise, he's never going to clear it. He's never going to hold it. Because the Harleys have such an indomitable OBSEC advantage. 4 bombs of 10 guys, bunch of small 5-mans. He's always going to be able to take that off you or mess with that primary. So you need to be able to get fire into those lanes and into those true units before they can just move advance and just mess with all your scoring ability. As for stuff being dead, I'm not seeing a lot of stuff dead for the lovely Admech boys. I do see 1 toaster tank on. He has 2 disintegrators. I'm only seeing 1, and I think they are too big for them. 1 to have been hidden under the overhang of the blue.
Yeah, I think
home objective.
At the beginning of the game, I think 1 was on the right-hand side of that blue building there,
where the Castellan robots. Yeah. I'm assuming that one's been picked up.
Yes, I believe there was one sitting there previously. Yeah.
Yeah, probably by Haywire bikes. I'm not actually seeing any Haywire bikes left on the table. Are you?
No, I'm not. And they were occupying that middle as well, drifting in and out of that middle in that combat there. So I'd say. Just had a bit of a shuffle forward, got their haywire grenades off, killed a vehicle, and then were actually sacrificed themselves. So that's probably a fair trade-off, though. Yeah.
What's really interesting, though, so look at the scoring at the moment. So looks like this is probably the top of turn 3 or the top of turn 4. I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming turn 3 for the Admech. They're just playing in, getting some stuff rolling. So they've scored their primary, and they only got a 5. Very, very, very interesting. So that means they only held their home objective. They didn't hold any others. Actually, a big deal. Where that gets relevant is because if he doesn't clear that top left-hand objective, actually, even if he does clear that top left-hand objective, the Harleys are going to get a 15. There's nothing contesting the middle, and the bottom right-hand corner looks pretty cinched up for the Harleys, with nothing there that's going to do meaningful shooting into them of a high density. On top of that, the Harleys looks like they just charged in and cleared up a bunch. Oh, he just picked up the Cerberus Raiders.
Yeah.
So maybe, unfortunately,
the Raiders are going from that top left there.
Maybe I am wrong. Maybe we're into the bottom of turn 3. He did just score his 15 on primary, or this is the bottom of turn 2, which is actually quite.
Yeah, I don't think Lachlan's had his 3rd turn yet.
Yeah, it's just the bottom of turn 2.
Because he seems to be spread out across 3 or 4 of the objectives. So I think Lachlan hasn't had his turn. I think Callan's had 2 of his. He's his turn 3. He's had his 1 turn 3, and he's got 2 10 points both time for primary. This is going into about to go into Lachlan's 3rd turn, where we'll see him get another 15 for primary and boot scoot up to 30.
Yeah, so I actually think this is the bottom of turn 2, unfortunately. Yeah, so Lachlan's just having a bit of a haymaker turn, committing a bunch of his 10-mans, clearing up the Cerberus Raiders. I wonder what that unit is in the top left-hand corner on the big base. Maybe it is just one of his transports that he's taken off so he can do all the combats underneath it. Makes a lot of sense to me if he has done that. I can only see one other of his transports that's still alive. He started with 3. I can see if that is one in the top left-hand corner. The other one is at home behind the crates. We see it all the way on the right side of the board, behind those 2 against cargo containers. Yeah, behind there is another one of his transports. So yeah, not a lot dead by the Harlequins. I mean, I have lost all their bikes, admittedly, and the bikes are the best tool for bringing down these Castellan robots.
The vehicles.
The troop are just not going to do it. But with the terrain being what it is, the Castellan robots having deployed so far back in fear of what would be 7 D6 haywire shots if they were deployed aggressively, they might not be that relevant this game. Yeah,
that's right. We did mention earlier that centerpiece of terrain there we have, which kind of looks like a bridge. I don't know if you remember back in the day. Remember the old Blood Angel, the Chaos and Orc comic that GW did with that bridge where the two orcs and the Space Marines are fighting over the top of it. It kind of reminds me of that. They can't see through that at all. So those robots shooting has been taking out a lot there. So they don't actually be able to shoot through. They can't see any of those players sitting on the other side. All they can really do is shoot in their own deployment zone and the bottom right.
Exactly right. So 1 point lead to the cult mechanics at the moment. I'm expecting that to have changed by the end of this turn. Priority targets will go up to... priority targets already been scored. Occasional fronts is probably going to go up by another 2 points. I can't see that he's got anything in the bottom left-hand quarter, unless there's something we totally have missed. So another 2 points there at the end of this turn. So he'll be closing the gap. They're going to end this turn, the Harlequins, being 1 point up. So this is actually going to be a really tight game. I think this is the one to watch. But the other one that I really want to have a look at, I'm just going to hit the transition now. The Custodes game has a lot going on. I'm keen
to see where this Ares has gone to and what it's been doing.
I was about to call it Orion again, because I keep forgetting there's any other variant. Because it's the same kit, yeah, for sure. It's just different guns you stick on, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think just as... I think the center of it might be a little bit different. I'm not sure. I haven't actually got my hands on one yet. But there we go. We have seen a shuffle by it.
Yeah, what are you saying? Take the first call.
So it is very likely that it has gone into Hubba then, because it seems to have
it can't
just
have
gone straight
like
ahead
otherwise,
and then pivoted. Yeah. So exactly I'd say previously you were correct there. It has gone into pivot.
Yep. So that shield captain is still there, and I don't want to call it too early. He's winning. There's only 3 Repentia left there. I don't know how many wounds that guy's got left, but that was a full unit of 9, and it looks like they're down to 3. He just picked up 2 more. It's down to 1 or 2 left. What a
That's
bowler.
True. And he has the Saint coming in as backup now. She's not going to stand for this.
No,
she's coming in. She's going to put a final end to this. Find out who loves the Emperor the most.
Peter Colosimo has said they're totally different. Orion is a bigger boy. Really? It's bigger than this? That's ridiculous. Why, G-Dub? Why? They don't want us to be able to see our tables.
I think it's a troop carrier, I think, the Orion.
Yeah, I think the Orion carries 6 dudes? 10 dudes?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I don't know. Never seen one. Actually, I've seen one. I've seen tons. I've seen triple Orion lists, for God's sake. That was the dark time. But yeah,
so those Repentia have obviously been stuck in combat, like you said, and they've been doodled down. So that shield captain's just done his job, man. He's just done that objective the whole time, just sat there, obsec. So he might be a bit expensive on that 175 points. Yes, we lost the palace, but it's just sat there the whole game and just helped tick over the primary. I would say these boys are not scoring their primary unless this is a hold 2 for 5. I'm not really sure.
No,
I'm pretty certain this is a hold 1. This mission.
It is, yeah, it's a hold 1. But I'm really interested to know that Celestine had the opportunity to intervene into that shield captain and chose not to, which I think is pretty cute. She's definitely within 3.
Or maybe she's just got back up. Maybe she has died and has only just got back up.
True. But she would have some. She comes back at full life. Because she's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting that if he didn't, and he chose not to intervene, he might have another play in mind that he's doing instead. I can't see Trajan. I can't see any of the shield guard left. I'm assuming there are some still left. By all means, there's definitely some on his home objective. We're probably going to get an updated scores. We have... Sorry?
Definitely can't see any of the Aquilin floating around either.
Yeah. So there was one Repentia left underneath that overhang who's just piled in.
So he's surrounded by two.
Yeah, he's
Two Repentia
surrounded
currently?
by two out of the what started at 9. He's got one unit Repentia left that I'm assuming he's in reserve, and it's going to be needed this turn. How funny would it be if he put another unit Repentia into that shield captain, and I just don't care, mate. I'm just going to kill them too. And he just bodies the whole 18 of them and holds that objective throughout.
There is a dice sitting there, so I'd like to know how many wounds that shield captain's got remaining. It will be good to see, like you mentioned, if he can just sit there for all 5 turns just fighting off multiple units of Repentia.
They're actually completely different kits. They just have the same similar silhouette. That's from Liam Howell. Of course, it's totally out of G-Dub's MO that they would ever sell 2 very similar kits. The Valiant and the Castellan. It's just such an aberration. But yeah, Forge World do what they want. Forge World Forge World have a lot of leeway with me. The models there's still so many of their models I want to own. It hurts my pocket and my soul. But yeah, actually scores.
Right, so we're also, in the same regard, we're not seeing a lot of the AdMac or sisters left either. So you've mentioned that a couple of these a couple of the sisters might be off the table, the Repentia squads, which this could be the case. Obviously, we can't see all the way up into the top of the table there.
Brother.
But there are a lot of... Yes?
Sorry. I can see Aquilin Custodes.
You're right.
I can see Aquilins. You see them? To the left of the Cataphrone Breaches. The Castellan robots.
Oh, they've come in. They came in from the left-hand side of the table there.
They came in. They had a 9-inch charge, killed the Onaga Dooncrawler, and looks like they may have almost tagged something else. I don't think they have quite, but yep, they're on the table, man. Those
I like that.
And those are tricky.
So there's even less AdMac than I thought, because I was assuming just looking at them there that was a bunch of AdMac stuff, but obviously there's even less AdMac than I thought, because that is now Custodes.
So there's a big risk here from the AdMech player. He can hunker down, drop his anchors, double shoot those Castellan robots.
There goes the Saint.
She went in?
She went in.
Yep, she went in. Okay. So he had the chance, he took it. But yeah, big call.
Sorry to cut you off there, Matt. I got a bit excited there.
No, dude, totally right call. Big, interesting thing to happen here. So he's had 4 Aquilin Custodians. So there's one left. There's one less there. There's one missing. What's interesting there, so it looks like we're obviously into the charge phase. So he's already shot at those Aquilins. He's only killed 1. Yikes indeed, if that be true. Yikes indeed. That is a game-ending position. Though they will kill Cole, or they will kill the Castellan robots. They'll probably tag everything else that's left, and we're going to have a bad time. But yeah,
we're going to have a good time, because we're going to get to see a closer game. That's actually going to chew through a lot of the while we stand that Matthew Cross has chosen.
It's possibly going to blow this out, man. That single, them being alive and them being there, might blow this game out. Yeah, he's moving up to go.
He's not going to have much either to hold primary either. So
yeah, exactly right. And this Ares is just going to fly straight over, and being in hover doesn't have much to be afraid of. Interested to see he hasn't brought his other Repentia on in any way that I can see. I don't know where they are. If they were on, I'd assume I'd know where they were. They're such a pivotal unit at this point of the game. Maybe he hasn't used them yet. They've got two turns of scoring in for the sisters. Yeah, they've got 2 turns of primary scoring. So this has got to be his turn 3.
Yes.
This has to be his turn 3.
Yeah, this has to be his turn 3, so they have to be coming on now. Well, actually, this could be Stephen's 2nd turn and about to go into the AdMech's 3rd turn.
Exactly right, because we know for a fact that they went first. Now, Bring It Down. He has got 4 points on Bring It Down. He should be getting 2 more points at some point. 4 points on Bring It Down. What, is that the 2 Castellan robots, and he's killed the Onaga Dooncrawler? That means the Pennant engines are still alive, dude. Where they are, nobody knows, but they're technically still alive. He hasn't scored the points for them, at least.
Yeah, so I do say this must be the bottom of turn 2 then?
Yes. No, this would be the top.
No, it can't be.
This would be the top of 3. Top of 3, man.
Yeah.
Because we've only had one turn of primary for the AdMech, and 2 turns of primary for the sisters, so 100% this is the top of 3. We're into the charge phase. The Saint has gone into our big boy, our legend of a man.
Captain.
Yes. The Mr. Indomitable Constitution, drinking concrete, does not care for your bullets or your big old swordy swords. But yeah, that guy's such a beef stick. Someone in the chat tell me what Indomitable Constitution does.
Plus 2 wounds, I do believe.
Yeah, plus 2 wounds. So that puts him up to what, 9 wounds?
Yeah, that gets him up. That's what gets him up to 9 wounds. Yeah.
Yikes.
So he's got a 2 up, a 3 up, a 5 up, and then he has an extra 2 wounds.
Yes, a 2 plus 3 plus 5. Yeah. Wow. He's just so hard to kill, man. So hard. And if he's Victor of the Blood games as well, which you would if you're doing that, you're just like, I guess I'm going all the way with this. And he's a single detachment. He's a single detachment. He's got CP to spend. He would victory the blood games, this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. What a
So
heinous
Not only
lag.
that, you can actually get 2 rerolls. So if you fail the 2 saves, you can CP reroll one of your failed saves and then victory the blood games another.
The other one.
So you can get 2 rerolls on those 3-up saves going off, which is actually massive.
Oh, so we're still in the movements phase. And apologies, I think I'm just reading this right. So the Daedalosus has a once per game smite. He can just pick a unit and do D3 Mortal Wounds to it. So that's what he's just done. We're still in the shooting phase. We only just started at the bottom of the top of turn 3. We've got guys moving up into the primary on the upper left-hand side. This AdMech player needs to play the primary hard now from here on out. He's losing assets too quickly to do anything else. But I don't know how... he has to go get the middle objective. Has to go get the middle one, man. Got to go get it. Is this
that looks like, is that a unit of Battle Sisters that he's got sitting up the objective? So even just them cruising up and taking it. So we've lost both of the Palace Grab tanks from the Custodes player. So the way he can get rid of little small units has actually been taken from him as well. So that will work in Matthew's favour.
The option, so I guess there's a risk here. He moves those sisters up and he grabs that objective. The Ares just flies straight over there and can actually just shoot call. So maybe there is some
consideration. Drop some bombs down.
Drop some bombs on the way over on those sisters and put everything into call.
Mr. Weber's off to bed. Good night, mate. See you tomorrow.
Good night. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for sticking in all the way. You're absolute legend. Love your contributions. Hope to see you tomorrow, man.
Like you mentioned, that Ares can just cruise across. It can start putting a lot of firepower into those last few remaining units. Those Aquilans will be able to just wrap up what's left as well. So depending on what that shield captain do, it'll be interesting to see if the Saint can finish him off.
She has to. She actually has to finish him off.
I think she would do. Do you think she would?
Nah. If he hasn't died yet, he's not gonna. So he's had 3 rounds of combat now with those Repentia. 3 rounds, and they haven't picked him up. So.
Are Repentia good at combat?
It turns out, I think I heard a little thing on the grapevine that they might be okay. No, they're ridiculous.
Yeah,
they're absurd. They're actually absurd. He has lost one of the Aquilans. That just got picked up then. I presume that's through shooting by the... probably by the Cataphron Destroyer and probably Belisarius Call because he can spike the D6 damages pretty heinously on them. Because I haven't seen enough dice to make me think that the Castellan robots have shot yet either. Because they throw a hell of a lot of dice. Maybe he's just throwing some bolters in now as well. Yeah. Hopefully to spike another wound. I'm interested to know if he'd go for the mortals. Is he going to put down the anchors and double shoot? Because that will guarantee that they go down. Can the Ares charge? Can the Ares, when it goes into hover, charge things that aren't planes, or can it still only charge planes?
When it's in hover, I think it acts like normal. I think then it can charge.
Okay, someone I'm of the opinion it probably can't. We'll probably get corrected in the chat in short order. Can an Ares in hover charge ground targets?
Simon has pointed out there, if the Saint was in heroic range, she 100% should have done it. The shield captain, when not charging, doesn't do much damage, and that's 100% right there.
You're exactly right. The shield captain can't
charging
kill the Saint.
The shield captain doesn't do much damage anyway.
Yeah, he's going to kill the Repentia pretty...
5 attacks.
Yeah, it kills Repentia really well. 5 attacks, hit on 2s, re-rolling, wounding on 2s. Yeah, it kills Repentia really well. Celestine, 4+ invuln, like 8 wounds, does not care. Even if she did care, she gets back up, doesn't care again. I might have to bounce out for one moment, my man. If you're willing to hold this one up, you want me to switch on to a different game?
No, just stay here. I'm pretty keen to see what the Saint does here with this shield captain, which is obviously where we're going to now. So we'll just stay with this for a bit if you don't mind.
Let's see if the Swole captain can hold out one more round. I will be right back momentarily, guys.
No worries at all. All right, so Matthew Cross is rolling some dice here. We're under the belief that it is these Castellan robots now that are probably shooting at these Aquilans. So we'll keep going with that and see what's going to happen here because, like we've alluded to previously, we are under the opinion that Matthew needs to take some of these primaries, probably the secondary as well, because he's going to start falling. That center primary is what he needs to take because he's going to start falling behind on secondaries. That Ares gunship is going to be a big threat, so I don't think he has anything to take that out anymore. So that Ares has free reign over the board. Shout out to the chat if anyone has anything that they also want to cover or mention. Feel free to get involved in the chat there. So the combat there with the Saint and the captain is what I'm super interested in. Obviously, those shield captains on bikes don't actually put out a lot of damage. So it's taken obviously 3 turns to whittle down that unit of Repentia, which are not known for their durability whatsoever, mostly for their combat prowess. So it'd be interesting to see whether once the Sate comes in, if she can finish him off. Otherwise, he'll just continue to live. All right, so shooting-wise, those Castellan robots have managed to get rid of one of the Aquilans and have got them down to 1, which is actually going to leave a bit of a hole for old Stephen there, because he's not going to be able to chew through those units like we initially thought once he came in. So whether or not he failed the charge off the deep strike there would be good to know. I'm keen to see what's going on with all these Custodian Guard. I dare say they must have all dropped, and see if they're all gone. So let's see, War Magic is added. Gonna need a bigger stimulus if I'm going to afford an Ares. Yeah, I'm here with you, mate. They are not cheap. They are not cheap at all. They definitely hit the scene with a big bang for a long time there, so it's good to see. It's good to finally see one in action. I know in the War Room they used one for a while. Oh, we've just seen that final Aquilan has actually been taken off the table there now. So Matthew is able to deal a fair bit of damage, and he's gotten rid of all those Aquilan Terminators. That is a big blow for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in the hot seat. Yeah, the Aquilan going down is a big deal. So I just had a quick look at the board as I was walking past. Their pennant engines are right at the top, and they're facing down the Vexillus Praetor and a couple of units of Shield Guard. There's only one left in that unit. So in all likelihood, Bring It Down is going to get another couple of points attached to it. Should be at least 3 more points minimum, which changes a bit on scores, but not significantly. The primary is still kind of being won by the Sisters, but the Sisters are running out of stuff pretty hardcore. Admittedly, the Terminators going down is a big blow. I'm assuming the Castellan robots did the job.
Yeah, it looked like it. They got rid of one initially, and then I'm pretty certain they may have cleaned up the second one as well. Yeah,
because they have 2 instances of shooting. Pretty cool that shooting twice and they only just killed 2. That's pretty nice. But yeah, he hasn't made any inroads on the Ares, has he? So that thing is still primed on his 22 wounds, sitting pretty.
He doesn't really have much that can deal with it though. With the toughness 8, the Neglon, he doesn't really have much that can reliably chew it through.
Nah, he's run out of. Well, he can spike mortal wounds with Call with the Castellan robots. He can spike wounds. He can get some stuff done there, but it's not going to be a one-turn thing. And I'm of the opinion.
That's it.
Those Castellan robots only have. They're probably dead next turn actually.
And
not, like at least
and
one.
He's probably unlikely to be able to bracket it also, so he's not going to be able to get it down to a bracket.
Yeah.
So he's much better off getting rid of those Aquilans than that, like he had done. Any chance you got to see, what was the other question I was going to ask? So we've got 1 unit of shields that aren't seen. The other 2 are obviously dead. Did you see where the Repentia are at?
No, dude. I can't see them. No idea where they are, man. Really, really surprised.
That's very interesting.
It's doing my head in. I don't know where they are. They may have come in at the top and they already got picked up in some kind of exchange with the Shield Guard. But yeah, really, really no idea where they are, man. It's actually quite quizzical to me. It doesn't look like he's done any wounds with the Repentia on the Shield Captain. Doesn't look like any wounds. Oh, sorry, with Celestine. Now we've got the Repentia coming in. Still having 3 attacks each is quite fearsome. Maybe he's got more than we thought. It doesn't look like with some pilings, he might have 4 or 5 of them there still, and the other ones were just hiding out.
Yeah, there seems to be a few more there. I know the Saint did jump over the Shield Captain as well.
Looks like he's made them all, man. His 3 ups. It looks like there's a couple of 2s there, though.
Yeah, it looks like he's just tried to roll maybe a 5 up. No, there's that damage that's come through.
No, nothing does D3 damage. They all do instances of 2.
Yep, and
now he's rolling his... 2 damage went through. Now he's rolling his Feel No Pains. Look like he's taken at least 1, if not 2 wounds.
1.
Wow, yeah.
This is a separate combat, so that's for the top there. Okay. So I'm just going to bear out myself there, Adam, and
there we go. No problems. The last of the Mortifiers has been picked up in combat. Yeah, I feel like the Shield Captain, I think, has made it out, guys. The Swole Captain. It's so good. And now the Shield Captain fighting back. He should be going for the Repentia, try and clear out the Repentia. It's going to take him he doesn't have enough turns left in the game for the Shield Captain to kill Celestine, unfortunately. It's just a sad fact that a Space Marine Captain is so much more killy than a Shield Captain. It's actually frustrating, but admittedly, the Shield Captain is so much tankier, especially with the true 3+ invulnerable saves being packed by those bad boys. We might have a bit of a transition. We're going to jump over. Let's have a quick geeze. We'll go back to the bottom. Have a look at the Eldari game. The Eldari versus the Admech. There's a bit happened there. And yeah, we'll see what happens when that one comes up. But as it sits right now, I feel like the Sisters are in a very good position with the primary, but I feel like the secondaries could start running away from bigger downs, going to start swinging their way. Grind Them Down has to start swinging the Custodes' way at some point, surely. And Priority
We
Targets.
had a big table bump there, didn't we?
Yes. I tried not to draw attention to it. But yeah, up to the AdMech
I am
and the
awfully sorry.
AdMech and the Harlequins. What is that call? What is on that big? It has to be a Belisarius call. He's bossed out call. Maybe made a charge with him into some Harleys because he actually does quite a bit of damage to Harleys. He's got his 2d6 strength 4 attacks and all that goodness. He can kill some Harleys pretty reliably. Funnily enough, and actually it looks like a lot of Harleys have been taken out, man. Like there's nothing,
Yeah,
no
definitely
Harleys,
does.
no Harleys in the bottom right. Maybe one character or one single troop in the top left. Yeah, not a lot of Harleys left. The score is looking very much in the Harlequins' favour, though. Just a quick rundown now: 20 to 30 on primary, because of course I was expecting him to pick up a 15 in his next turn. Deploy Scramblers has not been scored yet, but I feel like it's far more likely that the Harlequins have scored it or will score it from this position. Because right now he's got to get Cata from breaches over into his opponent's deployment zone, and they do not move very fast. They still advance D3 inches, and I think they're just measuring out the deployment zone now to see what they have to do. Priority Targets has yielded 12 points to the Harlequins and 7 points for Engage. While We Stand, We Fight has not been scored yet by the AdMech, of course. And we've realized that was Belisarius' call. That was of course, the Castellan robots, and that was their unit of 5 Cataphrone Destroyers, right?
Yeah, that is correct, yes. And he definitely has 2 of them left.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure what is in that blue building because we mentioned at the start it is very likely that that unit of 4, I think it was inside that blue building.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, the city unit
I'd say 2 of them has creeped out, is that correct?
I would assume 2 of them have creeped out, man, because I think that they needed to get into rage because the arc rifles and the plasmas and the haywires don't have amazing range. They're not bad. I think they're 24s and 30s or 36s. But yeah, he might have needed to get range, get some extra shots because I saw he has the secondary weapons that are 24 inches, the fossil blasters, etc. So yeah, still a hellacious.
We're actually seeing some more of those Harlequins on the top left objective there being removed. So Cole's obviously just peppering off some of them.
Still going.
Removing that cluster that was there.
What does Lachlan do from here? I feel like the best thing he can do is try and get a tap off on the Castellan robots. But admittedly, like if he just stays where he is, the Castellan robots have nothing to shoot. They have 0 targets.
Yeah, that's right. The Castellans have been taken out of play. Lockie can just probably sit on the 3 objectives. If he can come down to that bottom one for a couple of turns with some throwaway units, that'd be handy. I don't know if he has any throwaway units left. Maybe that vehicle that's sitting on the right-hand side behind that crate with the barrel in it. That's obviously still alive, I'd say. It looks like it. They could probably come down and just give him a 15 and then he's done. He's capped out on the primary. And I don't know if Callan can get to the max.
Yeah, I don't know if Callan can from this position and for the units he has and at the speed he has. I'm not sure he can get to a 45. So the best thing Lachlan can do is get one more 15-point turn and run away. Run for the hills. Hide.
Do what Eldari do best.
Do the Harley stick. The Harley shtick. Get out of dodge. Do not get shot to death. Feels like a good spec.
I wonder if those service raiders that we saw previously on that top left objective, if they were, they can perform actions. Am I correct? So they may have been.
No, they're cavalry.
Okay. So I was thinking maybe they were getting scramblers.
Yeah,
it is going to be very hard for Callan to be able to get those deploy scramblers.
I did scratch my head on the scramblers pick, and honestly, they could just match on primary, and then the Harleys get scramblers. The Colt, the AdMech don't, and it's a wash. The game is gone. 10-point win is easy and simple as that. Yep, that troop, Starwave is jumping onto that objective, and I'm assuming we're going to see the troop jumping into it.
Yeah, it looks like it. He looks like he's putting them on there so that people know that it's there, and I expect to see in the next turn a bit of a hot shoe shuffle. The Omnissiah himself, Joshua Diffie, has jumped in a chat. He said, "What's everyone's think of our updated overlays powered by BCP? Would love some feedback." So everyone in the chat, let us know what you think.
Yeah, please do. Josh Diffie has built these to be showcased at this event and be a launching pad for it. So this is really their first kind of test run. Please let us know what you think of it. Please let us know if this is something that needs improving in any way. Joshua is an absolute magician when it comes to this stuff, and he's put a hell of a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into making this have a lot of functionality. So I'm assuming that he's brought the Star Weaver over because he knows he really can't be shot this turn. There's not much that's going to kill it. Belisarius Cawl has a short range on his melter guns, and if he actually moves forward anymore, it would actually be kind of detrimental to him. Best thing Cawl can do is go into the top left-hand corner and try and hold that down. But that Star Weaver is there in the eventuality that he's going to dive it onto the bottom right-hand objective, and then it's going to be turn 4. He kills the troop, so he kills the transport. The troop get out and hold the objective at the end of the game, which could possibly be a reality. Whether it's likely with the amount of firepower his opponent has, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's not out of the realms of possibility.
Yeah, so it looks like Lockie's going for just a 15-point turn that he can, just to make sure he maxes out those primary. And like you've mentioned, I think he's going to creep ahead on the secondaries also. He's just enough to pip it.
Well, so Lachlan's in good stead to max priority targets, of course, and to max while we stand, we fight. He's not getting scramblers might cost him the game because engage and priority targets are gonna. So priority targets even each other out. Engage is gonna get him a good score, or he has got him 7 points. It's gonna get him another 2 points this turn. Sorry, no, maybe he won't have something in the bottom right hand corner.
He still has the top left hand corner. He has something.
Yep.
Top obviously right the bottom right hand. But the bottom right he's not going to be able to do anything like you mentioned because he's just picked up that unit. So I thought that's maybe why he was going to move that vehicle down to the bottom right hand side all by itself.
He could have. Maybe he would have just, with what he's done, maybe he would have just nudged it down there a couple of inches and just grabbed those 2 points. Might have been better than what he's planning to do now, but he can still do it later. Like it's not the end of the world. But those are just points gone begging. If he's sitting on 9 on engage, even if his opponent gets to deploy scramblers, they essentially even each other out as well. And then he
that's it.
will win by his own scramblers. But maybe that's what he's doing. He's put that unit in there so they can get a move out of there into his opponent's deployment zone. Because I saw them measuring the deployment zones before, so maybe he's worked out what he needs to do to get that one done.
Yeah, well, I don't see any way for him to start getting any of the while we stand, we fight points. So I don't see Cawl going down or any of those bigger robots there. He doesn't have the units left to be able to deal with those.
Ben Nicorette has just said, it looks sweet, Diffie. It needs to be 5 tables for Terracon. Dude, don't do that to me. In all likelihood, I'll be setting that up and on the day. And I don't like setting up 5. I don't like setting up 3 tables, 5 tables. Ugh, everyone keeps bumping them and jostling them, and that's a hell of a lot of duct tape.
Who doesn't love duct tape?
I love duct tape. Solves all problems, but it's a lot of it. So again, getting a bit of posture. Like I keep calling it posturing. Like when you stage, you're staging before you make a play. You posture up and then you make the play. What he's doing here is he wants to stop and be a deterrent from the AdMech getting onto the middle objective. Admittedly, he's got OBSEC on there now. The AdMech, to my mind, only has the breaches and the destroyers as OBSEC. They'd have to move in advance to get there now. Even then, they won't make it. Like, they move 5, and then they advance D3. That would be
a very big advance.
They're not going to make it. They're outside 8 inches of that objective for sure. But what he wants to do is he wants to intimidate him into not going for it so he's there later. So, which is a good play. Like, cause it's like, oh, cool, you're gonna move up 8 inches towards me now, and I'm gonna auto charge you next turn and just kill your ability to do it ever again. On top of that, I'd probably like wrap one of the Castellan robots as well. And I'm of the opinion he probably has his Fang Troop Master in addition. So he still has his most deadly tool yet to be used. He's moving a lot of characters around here, there, and everywhere. And he's just measuring engage. He's measuring engage for the bottom right-hand quarter, and it sounds like he's just got it with that character movement. So yeah, he's cinched that up, another 2 points there. I'm feeling like the Harlequins are in a dominant position on the scoreboard. Might not be all that dominant on the table. Like if this game had 3 more turns in it, I'd be saying the AdMech is going to win. But with what I think is only 2 more turns, I can't see them making up the bridge in what's going to be a big primary score for the Harlequins.
Yeah, that's right. Callan hasn't really allowed himself to be in this game here by positioning the robots as far back as he did during deployment. He's sort of taken that robots out of play. He really needed some kind of different firing lanes there to be able to see multiple objectives. The objective in the center there, you can't move the center objective, can you? So when you're moving objectives for this one, the middle one can't be the one. It's just the 2 outsides. Is that correct, Adam?
Yeah. So I say that again. I just had Mr. Napier walk in. I was making lovely puppy dog eyes at him.
Good man. When you're moving the objectives for this mission, you can only move your ones in in your table side. Is that correct?
No, you move one of the ones in your table side and one of the ones in the opposite. So
Okay.
whoever I guess loses the roll up moves one, the other player moves two, and then you move the last one. But you have to move one in your side and one in your opponent's. And of course, you can't move one that's already been moved. So the first one you move, of course, you're going to ensure the safe score for yourself. Move one deeper into your deployment zone. The first one your opponent moves is going to do the same. And then it's kind of, if it had a different secondary, it would be really interesting. But as it is, it's just kind of meh.
I would have liked to have seen Callum maybe move one of those objectives into another firing lane. So he doesn't really have the firing lanes he needs.
True.
He probably should have started those robots where they are now, started forward, because from where he is, he can see three of the objectives. I wouldn't count the middle one as being able to see, because as you pointed out, what he's doing is just holding on the other side of the bridge there, so he can't actually get any firing power there. But those robots need to be able to. He should have moved them early and been more aggressive with them, because they're not actually doing anything.
Well, exactly right. The robots had to be deployed negatively because of the fear of the because of the first turn fear from the Haywire bikes. The Haywire bikes could go 22 inches and chuck down 7d6, probably kill 3 of them. As in, your best unit is now non-existent. It's gone. So to do that, he put him in a really negative place. It's 500 points of his army, man. It's you can't do it. You can't do it. But at the same time, what's the solution?
He also had to do it.
Let him die?
Because he's taken while we stand.
Exactly.
So had he not taken while we stand, he may have just been able to push them forward and go, okay, well, I'm accepting I'm going to lose these robots. That's fine, because if I don't push forward with them, I'm not going to be using them anyway.
Exactly.
And he could have been able to get into some better firing positions and get some better use out of them. So maybe while we stand here wasn't the actual good pick there for Callum.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the tower game. We'll get that one logged up.
Yes. Please.
We'll do. Just getting slid in.
So how many models do you think will be in the center of the table here? Plus or minus 10?
Sorry, what?
Center of the table. How many models do you think is going to be in the center of the table here? Plus or minus?
Well, I can see it before you, and I can tell you there's more than that, because I feel like the T-Suns player has just used his gem and has just redeployed a whole. Oh no! Yes, he's just gemmed over his Scarab Occult Terminators. Yikes. So they start on the table, guys. Either that or he deep struck him into his deployment zone later in the game. But he's just gemmed those up, or either that or the Cult of Duplicity, I think it's either Psychic Power or Stratagem. One or the other lets you do a redeploy. And he's just postured those up, chucked them, dumped them right into the middle. It's going to be a lot of firepower needed to dislodge them now, especially if they're buffed up. -1 to hit would be still such a problem for Tau. That's one thing they mechanically need to change. -1 to hit wrecks Ruins Tau. Because unlike a lot of other armies that have movement shenanigans and combat shenanigans to get around -1s to shoot against shooting, Tau have no options. If you're -1 to hit, you are wrecked. You lose 33% of your efficiency. It's just straight flat gone. You can never get it back. As for the score line, Craig doing some great things. What I thought was going to happen happened. That sorcerer has been picked up, and another sorcerer has been picked up. He's lost 2 characters, man. That's another 6 points on a Bore the Witch that have gone begging, and 6 points on Assassinate. So, dude, that's the big swing that's happened here.
It definitely. What he probably should have done. If you look on the top left-hand side now, that Demon Prince has obviously been invited to the balcony party as well. But the problem probably is that he sent them up there one at a time. If his plan was to put all those guys in that balcony party, is maybe send them up all in one go. It seems like an odd play to get them going up the.
Yeah. Well, there's an
do a beeline to the block party on the left-hand side.
Yeah, well, there's an objective there. There's an objective there, of course. So he needs to keep sending resources up there to get that done. But, dude, he's just left himself so exposed in so many ways. He has this ability to redeploy with the Cult of Duplicity. Surely he uses that instead of just walking up characters that are worth 6 points apiece across that far edge. Because, man, they're just going to be slapped down. I've just received. So in the chat, we had a bit of discussion about a possible illegal list. Just received a Adam Napier just came in, whispered me, and just wrote me a note. In the words of the TO, we've reviewed the illegality of Brent Davies' list. We feel that the intent of the rule is different to what has been raised, and therefore he will continue to play as is. Out of my hands, the ruling of the TO is what it is. It's a gentleman who's 2-0 right now, so I'm of the opinion I will not be making too many more beefs of it. I hope he's having a lovely time and enjoying the event, and the TO supports him in his endeavours. So yeah, is what it is, guys. The TO's rule is final.
Is what it is. That is correct. And we've done what was asked. We brought it to the attention. So well done. Shout out to you there, Adam. Very nice.
Oh, no, it wasn't by me.
All right.
Wasn't by me. Whoever messaged him on Facebook told him to go and tell us, apparently. I don't know what the message was. But yeah, he walked in here, had a word to me, gave me the note to read out on stream and said, yep, we wanted to address the, not the accusations, just the knowledge. All above board, according to this tournament, is what it is. So this has got to be some Scarab Occult shooting. They would probably just be hunting, probably just going for the broadsides, really. I mean, the -2 is not too bad in the broadsides, taking to a 3+ save. And with Veterans Longwall winning him on 4, it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I'm not seeing much. So Sky Ray scooped down into the bottom of that ruin. To the right of that is still a bunch of drones with a Riptide. Above that ruin is what I believe is a Cold Star Commander, who's probably what killed and what did a lot of damage to the unit of Zangors that was in the middle. Because he's got 2 burst cannons, 2 missile launchers, probably did a good job. Directly above him, on the other side of the ruin, we have the Riptide, and to the left of them, a bunch of drones and 3 broadsides. I got a Demon Prince boot scooting up into the party balcony. Behind him, what are those 2 bases behind him? I got no idea what they would be.
Sure, if they're like wound counters or something like that. I'm not really sure what he's got going on there. There doesn't seem to be any kind of models on there or anything like that. So I'm completely unaware of what that could be.
Maybe buff counters, maybe one for +1 invul, maybe one for -1 to hit.
Be. Some psychic powers or something like that. He's put on the,
could be some little tokens. But yeah, 41 to 48, you can just see the power of that combo of Assassinate and a Ball the Witch. Literally, I'm not sure if I was a T-Suns player, I'm not sure he needed to do anything to win this game apart from sit back and not give up his characters. And of course, play the center objective. When your opponent puts something in the middle, you've got to go. That's fine. The idea of chucking this Scarab Cult in there now is bloody juicy, in my opinion. I think that's going to be very hard, or nigh on impossible to dislodge that unit if it is buffed. If the T-Suns DP is buffed instead, we'll see what happens there.
That's what you and I were mentioning at the start of the game. We were hoping this Tau guy, Craig, the friendliest guy in South Australia, would actually push these Riptides forward and start to hold the center objective. We were hoping to see that from him earlier. So, yeah, that's obviously, because he hasn't done that, those Terminators are allowed to get in there, and they are now controlling that center objective.
Yeah, so I think this game is going a bit long in the tooth as for turns-wise. We've only had 2 turns of scoring, so this is only turn 3, so 2 turns of primary scoring. So this is only turn 3, possibly going into the top of turn 4, either for the T-Suns or for the Tau. So the Tau possibly could have scored a 10 and a 10, so this could be the bottom of turn 3. So it could be the T-Suns, bottom of turn 3. They've got their 2 turns of scoring. They got a 5 and a 10, respectively. I can see them getting a 10. I don't know how they would have been given a 5, though. Like, legitimately, they've held 2 objectives.
Possibly on this, that I believe there's an objective on the bottom left. It looks like there's still some models around that building there. So maybe they were holding it there for turn 2. And then they're holding that and the center from turn 3.
Anthony Andrews has just joined us. Now then, lads, how goes the game today? Dude, the games go very well. It's just nice to be sitting down calling a game in a hall full of friends at 40k. Just happy to be part of 40k again. The wider community. It felt quite isolated for a while. And yeah, calling great games by great people and servicing you guys. So we had a couple of people who chucked in a couple of dollars donations our way, and because of that, we were able to get a couple of lists that they wanted to see. One gentleman chucked in $5 and said, I'd love to see Tau. We managed to get a Tau game on stream. Same again for, was it Mr. Gundam? Chucked up a couple of bucks our way and wanted to see a Custodes game, and we certainly divided on that front as well. The next game, Game 4, is the last game of this event. We'll be able to do that. From after Game 4, Games 5, 6, 7, and 8, we'll all just be streaming the top tables of this event. So if you have any requests for the next one, chuck a couple of bucks our way. I will endeavor to get that one on stream. Otherwise, I'll just be overnight picking some good, strong games to get on that are going to be from top-level opponents. And it's the ones that are not going to rock, paper, scissors each other too much. I might get one rock, paper, scissors between 2 really good opponents. Might be cool to have on, but definitely won't be doing that for 3. It just makes for a negative experience. But dude, are you ready to jump on? Are you ready to move on to another table?
Yeah, man. And while you start doing a bit of a shuffle, I will go through some of the sponsors that we have here. So first up is Best Coast Pairings. Best Coast Pairings is a premier mobile application for running Swiss-style gaming tournaments. Simply put, the best tournament experience. Over 2020, we have seen some exciting changes to BCP and the merging of Best Coast Pairings and Down Under Pairings. The Omnissiah, Joshua Diffie, has joined the dev team and has built out a number of cool new features, including the streaming assets we are looking at today, as brought up to you previously by Diffie himself. Live scorecards, round timers, and event placings, all powered by BCP. If you are looking at running an event, BCP is a tool for you. BCP has sponsored this event, so you don't need to be a sub to view these lists. We have put the lists up a few times in the chat, which I will do again for you all. Yeah, BCP, man, get into it.
Okay, we have seen the end of the Matthew Cross, Stephen McGregor game. Huge swing towards Matthew Cross. Literally the primary being a big part of it. 45-20 on the primary. The inability of that Custodes army to score points simply because the Mortifiers were able to get in and eat 2 squads of the Custode Guard early meant that he couldn't contest the primary. As you can see, 45-20. Occasional fronts 11-8, while we stand 11 points for Engagement Front, 10 points for While We Stand, We Fight, e.g. What would have been? It would have been a Belisarius call and the Castellan robots didn't go down, and of course 15 for priority targets. Actually, this can't be right. Only got 3 points for priority targets. Can that be right? Oh. Do you know how that can be right? The only way that can be right is if the Mortifiers went in, they killed 2 units Custode Guard. There's 1 unit left that would have been on his back objective behind that blue ruin.
Building.
There was 1 unit of Repentia unaccounted for. The only way to stop him getting priority objectives is to take away his home objective. And there's 1 unit of Repentia we never saw. What's the bet that that's what they did?
That's very likely then. Yeah, they were probably just sitting in that top right-hand building because all he did have originally up there was that Ares that just boot skirted off and shot off to the left-hand side of the table there.
Which also explains why he never made a play for the middle objective, dude. He never needed to. He never needed.
He was comfortably sitting ahead
comfortably,
the whole time.
Yeah, exactly right. I love how things become apparent at the end of the game when you break them down and knowledge comes together. Huge. The fact that, dude, what the hell? The Custodes army didn't get grind them down once?
It's not really a surprise, man. The problem is that the Custodes don't really kill anything. So that shield captain, as we saw, he sat there in combat with those Repentia for 4 or 5 turns, was eventually tied up by the Saints. So the shield captain, which is a good chunk of the army, killed 1 dude. The equivalent came down, they died, so they weren't able to, they need to be able to kill a couple of units.
Yeah.
We're not seeing the Custodes kill multiple units. They need to be able to kill 2, 3 units each to be able to keep that grind them down and going.
To keep the attrition going. Because, man, every loss of 5 Battle Sisters, who cares? Every single loss of a Custode Guard is a huge deal, man.
Yeah, that's it. And we've seen it in the past, grind them down with those sisters. Especially with this type of terrain, we're seeing a lot of obscuring terrain here. It is actually hard to dig them out and kill them yourself. So grind them down, while it does look like on paper, it's easy to get. It is a bit difficult to get through them all in the end of the day.
Yeah, and as you can see, 8 points for bring it down from his opponent. That is the 4 pennant, the 4 mortifiers that picked up, the 2 Castellan robots, and the Onaga Dooncrawler. So he left the game, of course. While we stand, we fight. E.g., the Castellan robots were still alive. E.g., he was still left 2 left at the end of the game. Just quickly to Anthony Andrews. That's good to hear that we're playing and enjoying ourselves, but they are fully locked down in the UK, so no games for the past 11 months. Really sorry to hear that, mate. Whereabouts in the UK do you hail? Really sorry to hear. I know that feeling. I was lucky enough it wasn't for 11 months for us, but it was for a good, I didn't play 40k for 8 months straight, and that felt bad. So yeah, I understand a bit of that pain, but I hopefully there's good times ahead. We'll switch over to the Admech vs Harlequins game. That one should be in its final hours. We've got under 20 minutes left in this round, and then we'll be closing off for the day. We'll be starting up bright and early. Is it back? I think it's another 8:30 start tomorrow morning. So you can expect.
Get on to look that up for you.
Yeah. Please do. We should see the transition come up any moment now. But there's some stuff that's happened. He has had to commit to the center objective. He's actually made the breaches onto that objective in the last 2 turns. But the fact is that there's more Harlequins on that objective than the 2 breaches. So maybe he's just looking to turn that off while he could. The Harlequins have extended their lead. They have maxed on the primary. They got another 15 in the last turn, sitting on a cozy 45. And that's without deploy scramblers being scored for either opponent. I'm of the opinion the Harlequins probably have deploy scramblers locked up by now. It is one of their modus operandi, and priority targets is going to get another 3 points added to it, almost definitely. Engagement all fronts is 10 points. I actually think these boys are packing up because we've scored while we stand, we fights.
Yep, that is it. That is wrapped up and in the bag. So neither player looks like we're able to get deploy scramblers.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. Neither player able to get it. And 3 points gone begging on priority targets from the Harlequins. That's unexpected, but I mean, it absolutely can happen. We didn't see what that unit of infiltrators was able to do in this game. Maybe they came on and disrupted that for a turn, killed everything off it, and denied those points. Very likely. But yeah, 77 points to 62, literally just due to the swing on primary. 25-point swing there, all primary, all day. Crazy. Harlequins, 15 point. Apologies, 15 points. Yeah, most of it primary. But yeah, it's a big win. It's a very good win.
Yeah, that's what Harleys do. Harleys are quite good at getting the primaries.
And I'll just tell you right now, this table for Harlequins would be a dream come true. Really, really,
definitely. That center terrain that blocks off a good chunk of the table, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. It blocks off so much. You could put your entire 2,000-point Harley army behind that with a certain amount of confidence that not much of it can be shot. Like all 40 of his Harlequin troop can be behind that without getting shot. Heinously powerful. But anyway, let's transition over to our last table, and so we can call the end of this day and rest my voice. It's been a while. I've called. I don't think I've called 3 games in a day in a while. I've called a lot of games here, there, and everywhere throughout lockdown, but 3 in a day is still quite a bit for any voice box. Even one as well lubricated
you were just
as mine.
warming up, Adam, because you have the same thing to do tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not coming tomorrow as well, brother.
Mate, I am definitely going to be here with you. I feel like I've only just started chatting with you.
That's right, we have, man.
We've been at it all day.
War magic. Part of the issue with the Ares is that it doesn't really affect secondaries, whereas you could allot units for more engage or line breaker and teleport homer. I still want one though. Yeah, it's one of those centerpiece models you just want to have. But yeah, it's 400 points. That could be a lot more bodies to get you a secondaries.
Something like 9 Venatari are going to suit you a lot better than what 1 Ares gunship is going to do, in my opinion.
I'm actually really coming around to 3x3 Venatari, man. I think it's sick.
Oh man,
3 into 3.
I'm all about the Venatari, man.
Spicy meatball. But yeah, what are you seeing on this one? Looks like we've still got all the Riptides up.
Right.
The Scarab Occult's still very much dominant in the middle of the board. And that Demon Prince has made his sling up into the left-hand side. But dude, Craig's extending his lead, man.
He definitely is. So that Cold Star Commander has actually come out and is now hiding behind one of the trees there.
The shrubbery.
To the right of the center. The foliage, as we were talking about earlier. The Demon Prince, like you mentioned, he is partying in that block party. I'm pretty keen to see what is on that yellow sign on that building, because whatever it is attracting everyone to that building today. It has been happening non-stop.
They are braving the entire malicious volley of all this entire Tau army to try and get up into that block party. And only that DP has made it so far, man. Everyone else has been knocked down in the attempt.
It seems like James is playing a bit of bull rush on that left-hand side. He's just randomly throwing units up there one at a time and see what can and what cannot make it. We've had a bottom right-hand side there. We've had a Riptide just do a jump over. He's obviously, Craig's doing a lot of positioning here so he can make some shooting at those Occult Terminators. I believe maybe Craig would have gone first. So what he's trying to do here is stop James from getting that turn 5, 15-point jump, which we're starting to see become very prevalent in the game at the moment.
So we've had 3 turns of priority targets scored for James. So he has played his 3rd turn. So whether this is the bottom of turn 3 or the top of turn 4 remains to be seen. Because unfortunately, there's no timing secondaries being scored by Craig. Although with being on 30 points, it could be 10-10-10, as in he's scored his 3rd round. This is the top of turn 4, which I think the Tau did go first, yeah?
Yes, I do believe they did.
I believe they did as well. So we are looking probably at the top of turn 4 from... No, this will be the bottom of turn 4, starting for the T-Suns. Now, the fact is, there's still... No, sorry. This will be the top of turn 4. Apologies.
This should be top of turn 4, because James is on 6 for engage.
So 15 points. 14 minutes left and 15 points on the primary. The primary is going to win or lose it. If you can see, look at the secondaries. The secondaries for them are pretty much even, 9-6, 6-0, 3-9. So 18 for one, 18 for the other. So it's literally going to be won or lost on the primary. If this Scarab Occult live and he gets a 15, it's probably all she wrote. Mind you, he's not
Something to remember is that the deploy scramblers is also to be added yet as well. So if we can get an extra 10 points added to that, that would see Craig move up to 68. giving him a bit of a 20-point, close to a 20-something point lead.
Mm.
So James is definitely going to need to get that 15-point primary, which he's making a big play for here.
Absolutely. How many? So he's got a lot of stuff on the left-hand side still for Mr. Milner. He's still posturing up those riptides to get shots down that alleyway behind the block party. So there's got to be some stuff there worth shooting. But how much fire does he put into the Scarab Occult? I'm of the opinion everything goes into the Scarab Occult. Everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too, because that's
everything.
if we're looking at it, we're seeing possibly James having the option to max out at 45 on the primary there. If he has 2 more turns of getting 15, he's easily going to be able to max out. So he's got to stop those occult terminators, and that looks like what all the positioning and the posturing, like you mentioned earlier, is doing towards getting lots of firing lanes on towards those occults. If we look at the top of the table there in the center, those broadside units there, Adam, what is above that? Just to the left, is that a Thousand Sun unit or is that a Tower unit? The basing looks very similar to the tower. Is that the Riptide?
It's Riptide. It's the other Riptide, yeah. Directly above the broadsides in that ruin is the Riptide. So
he's positioning himself to maybe get some firing, some shots off of that Demon Prince set?
Yeah, he would. I'm assuming there's got to be something there shielding Demon Prince. Otherwise, he's just a one-cooked chicken. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what could be back there. Because most of the things I've seen that have actually come out of there has been like Rhinos and things of that ilk. And they've all just been cut down in pretty short order. So yeah, I'm a bit confused by what that could possibly be. You'll see. So look above and to the left of the big home ruin for the Tau. That's our man Farsight, just hanging out, being a good bloke, sitting in the back, just being like
just above the tree there, just near the Cold Star commander.
Above the shrubbery, that's next to the Cold Star. Yeah, that is our man, Mr. Farsight. I was trying to figure out what he was. So I'm like, he's only got one. That's definitely a Cold Star on that next to the shrub because I saw it.
Next to on the right it is.
Yeah, I saw it really well from another angle. And what would be smaller than? There's only one crisis suit that would be smaller than him, apart from the Riptide, the broadsides, which haven't moved since deployment. Yeah, our man, Mr. Farsight. I wish he was a little better. I wish they gave him like some decent amount of buff because he just doesn't kill anything, like either in shooting or combat. And that's just a weird place for any Tau unit to be.
Yeah, that's it. But currently, that's where most units from Tau are at the moment now, unable to kill anything in any phase of the game or do much else. So, but Craig's making them work. He's doing what he can. He's making them good hustle there, and it's good to see. It's good to see some Tau doing well.
Absolutely.
All right, so it looks like we're seeing a bunch of marker lights go down onto the occult there in the center there.
Yes.
So it will be interesting to see. Obviously, this is our last game, so we'll be hanging around with this. But it'll be very interesting to see how many of those occult terminators he can get through.
Yeah, I'm interested to see as well. They're not fully buffed. I'm of the opinion they're not fully buffed. There's no markers there to indicate they've got any buffs on them, but they could be -1 to hit. I'm hoping they're -1 to hit at least, because if they are, that reduces the firepower of this army so much. There's only 10 minutes left in this turn, though. So I'm not quite sure. They're probably going to have to just talk out the T-Sun's turn, or either keep these scores, because it's actually not fair to the T-Sun's player who has the bottom of turn that he has to take all this shooting and then doesn't get his bottom of turn either. At least that's my perspective 100%. On that. But
sometimes being last game of the day, maybe sometimes they are allowed to go over a little bit, so that could be the case here. Remembering that I do believe both these boys are on 0 wins. Is that correct?
Correct. Let's not push these boys around. Let's let them play out if they want.
Let's let the boys have some fun and see where the dice land.
Damn straight. As for how many Scarab Occult he's going to do, he's got 3 markers. We can see he's definitely got reroll 1s. He's not going to have any other meaningful buffs though. Like the ignore moving shoot penalty is non-existent anymore, which I think is number 2 and number 3. And I think number 2 or number 3, the other one is shoot seeker missiles gooder. Which is the technical term also. Shoot seeker missiles gooder. And if he hasn't shot his seeker missiles already, why hasn't he? He does, because he has a couple. Of course, the Sky Race have a couple. I think even 2 of the Riptides have 1 each on them. And I think probably he shot those as soon as he could to get the most maximum damage. Yeah, 2 seeker missiles on his battle suits, and of course the Sky Race have their full complement also. Yeah, he's counting. It looks like this is probably him counting out his broadsides. Definitely 100% shoot the broadsides first. Let them put everything, every single shot he's got into the Scarab Occult. And see how they go. Because they're, of course, the big spiky damage. You want them to do the maximum amount of work. And yeah, man, it's going to go pretty well.
That is right. So Michael Swain, who has been a great contributor today, has had plenty to offer in the chat today. He's asked us what has Craig done to be able to get that far ahead on primary. What we've seen throughout this game so far is that James hasn't really come out much. The only time he has come out to get on the objectives is he played one little turn where he came out on that center objectives,
Mhm.
and he spent a couple of turns just running single characters up to the balcony party, which we're seeing on the top
Yeah.
left hand there. So he's only really been holding one objective for a majority of the game.
So yeah, but the way Craig has gotten, he's just been holding 2. He's just getting 10 points. Hold 2, hold 2, hold 2. 3 turns of scoring 10 points. And yeah, that's all he's done. So the big issue here, yeah. So at the start of the game, I questioned his choice of assassinate and abort the witch, because all James would need to do was to be like, okay, I guess all my characters stay at home. Instead of all his characters staying at home, he's been shooting one character up at a time into the block party in the top left-hand corner, and because of that, he's been able to pick up 2 of his characters, which has resulted in a 12-point swing on the secondaries. So 6 of his abort the witch points and all his assassinate points. And that's the biggest swing. If you took 12 points off Craig Hamilton, he's only up because he has scored primary this turn and his opponent has not. So that's it, yeah. That's actually it.
Yeah, so the problem has been there is some kind of Slaneshi cultist party going in the top left-hand building, and everyone just wants to be a part of it. And we all know that the Slaneshi cultists have the best parties. So they're trying to drag him up there.
They really need to get a motor on these boys. 7 minutes left. Nothing's happened.
We've gathered a lot of dice in the center of the table.
The resources have been gathered. They have not been used. They're too precious to use, man. Yeah, crazy. He's spending some CP as well. Probably going to be throwing the kitchen sink at these Scarborough Colts. So I'm assuming
there's a couple of ones there. There's a couple of ones there. We've
yikes!
some,
Yeah.
And a reroll into a 1, I do believe.
Is that? No, surely not. Surely not. I think that's a D3 damage that went through also. But yeah, man, this is... these boys need to get an absolute motor on. Get on your bike, lads.
They definitely
got some work to do.
All right, so here we go here. Richard, 9-2. Broadside's killing enough could allow T-Suns to pull out of line of sight of bottom Riptide. That is true, mate.
Correct. And the actual shrubbery is going to cause a -1 to hit from the Sky Ray and the Riptide, which is going to be, regardless of whether they get the -1 hit power, is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's right. So if he can pull some Terminators from that bottom, but that bottom brick of the unit there, then yeah, that other Riptide may not get any firing lanes on.
Exactly right. So you have to pull from... Yeah, you're exactly right. You have to pull from the
left-hand side.
Richard Dinner 2. So is that Richard Mr. Two Dinners? I'm envious of your double dinners, my friend. I'm quite hungry.
Richard 9-2?
What?
Richard 9-2?
Oh, yeah, wow, I suck.
You must be hungry.
I totally missed that other 9. Mr. Diner 2. He owns 2 diners. What are you talking about? It's like Terry Two Thumbs. We call him that because he's got 2 thumbs.
Man, I would love to go to dine right now. I am starving.
Man, chicken waffles. I was unconvinced. I thought, wow, this is just some gross American stuff. I ate that over there. That's a legit meal. You feel a little bit gross afterwards, but it is tasty as hell. It is tasty as all hell.
Yeah, I imagine that would be the case. All right, so we're seeing a bunch of dice. Those ones we had in the center there have been removed, those black and red dice, but we didn't see any occult Terminators being removed. No. I don't know if it's just... so we're seeing I don't know if it's just my table. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of 1s on these white dice. It could just be the dice themselves, but it looks to me like a lot of 1s are being rolled.
Yeah.
All right, so we've seen the first Terminator be removed.
Yeah, so
man, this looks like a lot of 1s.
It does look like a lot of 1s. Michael Swain, it seems tough. Sorry, what is it? 17 to 19 points per wound efficiency for a rubric. It seems tough as soon as you mention anything with decent out of line of sight shooting, I suppose. Yeah, and look, that's actually still one of the things that Tau can do. They can leverage a more strength 5 no line of sight shooting than anybody else, except maybe Grey Knights. Like with buffed up silencers and storm bolters, they have more mass fire than anybody else. The difference is they're a 1-phase army in an edition that requires 3-phase efficiencies at a minimum. 4-phase efficiencies is better, but 3-phase efficiencies is enough to be a great army. And they have 1-phase semi-efficiency. It's a bit tragic. I'm never happy to see an army stay consistently bad. I think Tau actually need a complete rewrite. The whole basis of what they're built upon, of being a static shooting faction, cannot be strong in 9th edition without being
No, not the way the secondaries are playing and stuff like that.
No, they cannot be strong without being overpowered. The only way to do it is to make them have the most overpowered shooting phase in the game, and that's just going to be more boring.
That's what we've seen in previous editions. Isn't
Exactly.
It? At times they were just too powerful. They would just shoot you off the table without even to see you. You couldn't get into combat with them due to Overwatch capabilities and that they had. So while they're not in a good place now, they're not in a good place. They weren't at a good place then for the rest of the community. So it'll be interesting to see in the future what they do with them. I haven't seen any release schedules for Town myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I have any privy information, but
rumor-wise,
I haven't seen any upcoming.
I have a fair to decent amount of premium information, and there's nothing on the horizon that I know of for Tau. So a bit sad. They might be in the dumps for a little bit to come. Richard 9-2. Are players allowed to talk out the results of a match? What are your thoughts on that? Mate?
Sorry, what was that, Adam?
How do you feel about players talking out the results of a match?
Man, I'm good with it. Sometimes. I've had to do it myself a few times, but obviously the thing I found is that I'm sometimes more generous in what can and cannot happen. I know I've given away a few units when I shouldn't have. Oh, okay, well, you can have that unit, and I would have done this, and blah, blah, blah. So I find that sometimes scores do become a bit inflated. At this stage, when guys are 0 and 2, I wouldn't have an issue with it. That would be fine. Depending on the turns, I'm happy if someone gets to turn 4, then I'll take those scores as legitimate. But if someone can win a tournament and in one of those games they've only played three turns, then I don't believe that they've won the tournament correctly.
No.
They need to be minimum of 4, if not 5 turns all the time.
I'm happy to people to talk out a turn 5 in which most of the things are a foregone conclusion. I'm happy to talk out the last turn of a game. It's definitely going to be the last turn. You should never talk out more than one turn. I'm not happy talking out 2. I'm not happy talking out 2 players' turn either. A lot of the time. Like, I'm happy that if the Tau player has his shooting phase and then they talk out the T-Sun's turn, that's fine with me. Absolutely no problems at all. But if you're at the start of a turn and you're talking out an entire turn for both players, unless it's the last turn of the game, unless it's like turn 5, I'm pretty much against it. I feel like it's never going to be a true representation of what would have happened, and you're asking too many ifs and buts from both players. What are you guys, prophets?
Yeah.
There's no way you could possibly know the outcome of 2 turns.
It could be a little bit different now the way we're seeing the end of turn 5. So if I'm playing you, for example, and I've gone first, I will know exactly, and you will know exactly what I'm going to do on that last turn 5, whether I need primaries or not, whether I'm going to move back and just try and hide, or if I'm going to try and stop you getting primaries. So I think maybe with the changes there, we also will know what you need to do to be able to cap your turns, because you're going to get a whole turn before you finish yours. So maybe we can see maybe a talk out of turn 5, but yeah, it just doesn't feel good, does it?
Nah, it doesn't feel quite right. Talking out of turn 5 though, I'm pretty okay with. If it's pretty amicable and it's not going to change the results, like there's no way anybody talks out of turn 5 in which they're going to lose, you know? Like, oh yeah, if we talk this out, I lose, or I can just, end turn 4 and move on. But like, if I've had my turn 5, the clock has run out and my opponent doesn't get a turn 5, in my mind, there are 2 solutions: talk out the last turn, or roll the scores back to what they were at the start of turn 5.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, you can't have it. You can't have it done the other way.
And in a lot of times, if there's any divisive parts of that, you just go with the TO. TO, what do you want us to do? Roll it back or talk it out? Leave it up to them. Take it out of your hands. No ifs, no buts, no bad feelings. As for the timer of this game, we are sitting at a multitude of zeros. 6 zeros in a row. There's no more time left in this round. So I'm hopefully we're probably going to call this game as soon as we see a final update of scores.
It looks like the boys have finished.
Yes, I'm hoping the boys have finished. For the sake of my voice, pretty cooked right now. But yeah, hopefully they'll just add this up. They'll get us an update on the scores, and Bob's your uncle will be off for the day. I am expecting Craig to carry this at this point. Had they 2 more turns, I could foresee a future where James Milner's primary score overtakes Craig's secondary.
I think that'll be the question, whether or not these boys are going to talk out for the final 2 turns and go to turn 5. I think that would be the question.
Well, see, I wouldn't talk out from this time. I would talk about T-Sun's turn, and then you just call it. Is what it is. At some point, there is a burden of responsibility on both players to ensure that a game ends. And you can't... I'm of the opinion that no one can sit back and wholly point a finger at their opponent saying, oh, they slow played me, unless it was truly a malicious slow play. Like, truly malicious. And it's so obvious when it is.
We're seeing a single dice roll here, so maybe they're just rolling off to see who wins.
That would be sick. That would be
4 up, I win.
sick. I'd love that. Good on him if that is the call. 4 up, I win. I got to buy you a beer. 1, 2, 3, you win. You buy me a beer. No,
Oh no, we're actually continuing the game. We're getting some marker lights coming down. We're getting some more shooting happening.
Jeez.
War Magic saying we did a great job there. Thanks very much, mate. We're looking forward to having you all back for tomorrow as well.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Are you going to be joining us tomorrow, Mr. Swain? War Magic, you jumping in as well? Like, really hoping to have some of the same guys join us on this journey from start to finish. That would actually be absolutely fantastic. Looks like some more DAC.
We're actually here for 3 days in a row, aren't we, Adam?
5 more games to go after today. 5 more. Do you know how many that is? This many. It's a lot. We've had another Scarab Cult Terminator be picked up from that middle brick also. Look, I'm quite happy to pull the plug on this one.
Yeah, man.
I'm quite happy to tune this one out. I can't see, without playing in Game 5, I can't see James Milner coming back, bridging this 15-point gap that he's got right now. Because, actually, let's just do some math. He's going to get another 3.
Demonic Teddy has just pointed out that the Tower hungry for their first win in the edition.
All right, zing of the day, Demonic Teddy. All the other ones didn't matter. That's the baller. That's the baller of the day. Well done. So he's going to get. So at the start of his turn, if the Scarab Cult don't die, he's going to get 15 for primary, putting him up to 30. He's going to have 3 for priority targets. He's not going to get engaged in all fronts. He's got nothing in the bottom right-hand corner, and the Scarab are too close to the center. But he's probably going to get 3 for banners, yeah? So 3 for banners puts him up to 6, and then he's got 12, so it's 18 on his secondaries, and then 30. So he's going to be on 50, so plus 15, so that'd be a 58, then plus 6. So yeah, he actually wins. If they play his next turn with the Scarab Cult alive, James Milner will overtake him and win. If he's got the third banner.
That's obviously what James is asked to carry on there.
Yeah, James is probably asked the tier, can we finish out my turn? Either that, or we just need to find out, like, they've probably made an agreement being like, okay, if the Scarab Cult die, he actually loses. He actually does lose as the Scarab Cult die. Scarab Cult live, he wins. It's as easy as that. So we're going to we're going to stick around to find out. Because that's all the information we need. That's all the information
while we have the chance there, Adam, And while we have a quick rundown here, before we finish that, I'm just going to quickly shout out to all of our sponsors. Best Coast Pairings, Knights of Dice, Smoky Pastures Barbecue, Dragon's Lair in Salisbury, the Normal Blokes, the fantastic guys on the Brisbane-based podcast, and obviously the Art of War Down Under podcast, plus the Art of War and the War Room.
Yeah, dude, people out there, get involved, jump in. Art of War is a holistic and hopefully all-encompassing group of companions and fellows, and more than welcome to any denomination, any background, any place in this world. If you want to be part of 40K, Art of War has a spot for you. Jump in, get involved. Would love to hear from you. Even if you just want to chat, hit me up on Art of War Down Under or message me at Adam Camilleri on Facebook. Happy to have a chat with anybody, anytime, especially if you're struggling at the moment with motivation or you're in lockdown, not doing so well with your hobby desires, your hobby dreams and aspirations. Hit me up, have a chin wag. I can't promise you a lot of time, but I promise I will respond. All right. That's
definitely one of the things, like you just mentioned there. 40K is great at support. My brother doesn't play Warhammer at all, but a few times he has rocked up, and I've met a few new people playing tournaments and whatnot, and he's always said to me, he goes, man, that's one thing about Warhammer players, they're always friendly and they always stick together, and it's definitely true.
Absolutely right. I 100% wholeheartedly agree with that. All right, dude, it looks like I think most of the shooting has been done. They are not rolling anything right now. Then there are 6 Scarab Cult left. So we know the broadsides have gone. I think they are tallying up the scores. I think that's it. I think they're tallying up the scores.
I think so.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
So they've obviously just played out the last turn of James's.
There's pretty much no need to play out the T-Sun's turn at this point. As T-Suns do start moving, I'm just gonna hit end stream and move on with my life. Because
James is still trying to roll dice, man. He's got a bunch of white dice in his hand and he's still trying to roll dice.
It's like, I will not be denied. just doing it, man. But yeah, I think at this point, now that they're tallying up scores, they've got a pen, they're doing stuff. We can call this one. I'm going to pull the plug on this stream. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us for this menagerie of games, these 3 games. Well, it's these 9 games that we've called. Please join us again tomorrow, another 9. By the end of this, we will have called 9, 18, and then another 6 on day 2. So we've called 24 games of 40k by the end of this week, by the end of Monday. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you much for the incredible support. We will see you again bright and rosy tomorrow. I think 8:30 start again. So we'll be up and going probably around 8:20. We'll have the stream fired up. Nick, anything you want to mention before we pull the plug?
I mean, just thanks to obviously the chat that's been there. Anyone else in the chat, just make sure you tell your friends, bring them on down. We've had a great day. We'd love to have some more people in there. There's always room for more. Shout out to our sponsors like we mentioned earlier, and just thanks for having me, Adam. It's been a great day.
Dude, absolute pleasure. You're an absolute champion. Couldn't think of a better co-pilot to go on this with me.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. Peace out, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you may be in this big wide world of 40k. Enjoy. Blessings on the Omnissiah upon your head.